Good afternoon and welcome to Ballymore Stadium for the 2023 Challengers Series. The best men and women of Queensland Club Rugby converged with the Queensland Reds to compete in a two-game series with exciting law variations. The ladies are up first with the Reds Development 15 up against the Queensland Rugby Development 15. Stunning spring conditions here at the spiritual home of Queensland Rugby and the National Rugby Training Centre. Martin Lippiott here with you in broadcast this afternoon, and joining me is current Chugoku Red, Regu Lions and East Tiger for Life, Mr. Ed Quirk. Quirky, what a fantastic place to be on a Sunday afternoon.
I don't think I'd rather be anywhere else, actually. It's obviously a beautiful, beautiful day out there down at the newly renovated Ballymore, so I think we're going to be in for a treat.
Yeah, we have to talk about the significance of this place, the National Rugby Training Centre. It's going to become the home of women's rugby in the coming months to years. It's a very exciting chapter in Australian rugby.
Massive chapter. I think, you talk about the excellence and the expertise of what these girls are going to be able to get done within those walls that previous people have done before. So I've been out there and had a look, and it's top shelf.
And we've got two cracker lineups for this first match, and it will be the Reds Development 15. Quirky, there are some great players in the mix here today.
Massive. Obviously we're looking here with some really good experience across the board.
Brianna Cheatham, she's fantastic up there. One of many Wallaroos that are in there. Eva Kapani, Quirky, she's a real surprise to me. She represents a couple of players. Also Ashley Knight. They've come across from rival Super W programs to be a part of Simon Craig's ship here. So exciting times for them. Some great players across the mix as well for the Challenger 15. And it's a bit of a fuller lineup. 25 players getting on the field today, but there's a lovely spread of different club representation here.
Yeah, I was about to cover all that, and that's probably what you want to see from the grassroots end is obviously Leah Lafano there in the captain, but there's obviously a good even spread. They've been having a crack at each other for a long time throughout their season, so hopefully they can all gel together and we'll see, some fireworks today. Well,
a really interesting one is that it's unfortunate for this competition that it is a Rugby World Cup year, so UQ and Bond University lacking a little bit of representation here because they've currently got teams on tour in France. Must be nice.
Look, it's a hard one, either playing footy or watching footy with some few beverages in hand. I know which one I'd rather be at.
And we see the boys, they're tunnelling them on. They'll be up next today. Next week, we're back here for round two, the final match at Ballymore, and games will be inverse. So it'll be the boys running out first next weekend, but it's all about the ladies here. See a couple of familiar faces there, a couple of boys in the Butcher's Stripes who won that fantastic grand final here about a month ago. It's so nice to be back at Ballymore.
It's amazing to be back to Ballymore. Obviously, the final series being played out there, and everyone got to experience being back at Ballymore after a fair bit of a layoff. So I think playing this Challenger Series here is going to be go gangbusters again, as you can see by the crowd filling up.
The new McLean stand here on the western side. I think it sits just over 3,000 punters, which is fantastic, but it's the facilities inside that are top-notch. Now, obviously, Quirky, you, before heading to Japan to play for a few teams, I think, you've played for the Reds, you played for the Rebels, you had a taste of Ballymore before, and you've managed to kind of parachute in the after, and you're currently training there before you head back overseas soon. What's been your impression of the facilities and what it can offer the players?
Amazing. Obviously, I got to live the best of both worlds there, out in the back, sweating it out in that
in the shed.
In the shed and living out of a container there, which sometimes sharpens you in a different way, but obviously leading into, having these awesome facilities and that, and I've got to be in there and do the stuff. There's no room to not get better within those walls with all the recovery stuff, the gym and so forth. So I know that both sides of parties are just ecstatic with the new developments, especially up in the offices.
I guess for us old-timers, it's looking a little lonely at the northern end without the big aluminium grandstand that used to be there. I remember coming here to watch Reds games when I was young, and there was always an excuse to go down the back and run around with your mates, see if you could get yourself a mini football or whatnot. But it's fantastic to know that Ballymore's also a big piece in the Brisbane 2032 Olympic puzzle. It'll be one of many stops along the, I think it's along the corridor with lots of different venues. So I think they're going to have rock climbing out the back of the eastern stand. That's the exciting thing to come as we see the ladies getting out onto the oval now, and it's going to be a cracking 80 minutes of footy coming up, and we have got law variations as well. Plenty to play for. There we are, Joanna Rumbaka, the young Sunnybank back rower. She'll be looking to have a big impression and try and put her hand up for higher honours. We see the Development 15. I'll probably be calling them the Dev 15, the Savi, just so we can get through some fast calling. They're out there now in their predominantly dark blue strip. It'll be really telling here, Quirky, as we see Development 15 there kicking off, running left to right today.
Perfect day, as we said. Conditions are going to be obviously starting to heat up a little bit, but a lot of these girls have been playing and should be very fit from all their seasons, and having just a couple of weeks for preparations is always a good thing. So as we just get underway, ready to rock and roll.
And here we are for the first round of the 2023 Challenger Series. It is the Reds. Development 15 up against the Queensland Rugby Development 15. Out the back there, it'll skittle away. Mel Wilkes, who's coming back off a big injury. Her and Kapani, both players that'll be heading across to New Zealand to play the Black Ferns. I think that's a little later in the year. Exciting times. I guess that's probably the reason why Eva and Mel Wilkes didn't get a ticket to France, because they probably had something a bit more important to do here at home.
I'd say it's a lot more important, growing their game instead of, growing in other ways over there in France. So, look, a little bit scrappy there to start with, but again, these girls are going to start to feel their way through the game, and
you're right.
Yeah, they'll be looking to make a bit of a statement here with this exit.
So we get the first exposure to one of the new law variations. We've got shot clocks for set piece here. So it's going to be about rolling them out pretty quick, Quirky. I think it's going to be okay in the beginning, but we'll probably see a bit of fatigue start to play in as the game matures.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole reason that they've sort of brought this in as a law variation. Just one, we want to see the game sped up, but at the same time, the fitter players, and when the fatigue starts to set in, that's when, the clock will start to go a bit quicker.
Already a great little battle there between Maggie Glassick, the East Tiger. She's playing for the Dev 15, and the Reds, Dev 15, Sarah Lewis in 9, as they look to charge up here on the left-hand side. It's a great little run there from Ivania Wong. Now through the middle, good passing from Dallinger. The Reds 15 looking to go forward, but a turnover right in the guts. And that's a great individual effort there from the galloper, Amelia Byrne.
It's sort of, as you can see here, it's very hard to, when you're on the back foot, obviously the Reds 15 got a good momentum, but then, we've got Amelia there, Byrne, sort of, really getting a solid turnover for her team in a crucial moment.
So line out coming now off the back of the penalty. Amelia Byrne, she's at the back of the line out there. She's done exceptionally well, and now it's the first throw. There she is. Look at that mullet, Quirky. Stuff of dreams.
Oh, used to have one, and that's up there with one of them.
Now the Dev 15 working out to the left-hand side. Good passing there from Davidson. Coming up from the back, Piper Flynn gets the pass away. Here it is now with Curry, the Bulldog. Now, the Dev 15 under a bit of pressure here. Rumbaka looking to push over the top. Here's Paletti from the Brothers Club. Only player from Crosby Park in both sides. Over into the middle. Savelio gets it away. Scrambling. Glassick looks over to the left. Still with the Development 15. Good little offload there as they continue to go forward. So knock on, scrum to come. Been an interesting opening couple of minutes.
Yeah, look, it's they're sort of hanging out of the 22 at the moment. I must admit the pressure at the breakdown's been very, very good, and hopefully both sides will keep that standard there. Again, it'll play into the heat depending on how much pressure we're going to be getting at the breakdown there, but as you said before, we're speeding up with this this game clock and so forth. So I think there will be a couple of lungs burning within the next couple of minutes early on.
Well, it's been quite a warm spring. We're early in the piece. We've only been in here for a minute, but good pushing here from the Reds 15. They've got penalty advantage from referee Palmer. And now they're striding away. What a run here from Lewis. The halfback's away. She's looking for support. She's got it on the inside. The Reds 15 flying away. Renee Nona gets up to the 22, but it's been pilfered and knocked on by Beck Davidson. End-to-end stuff. What you want to see?
Great support line, but I think what we've got to be looking at here the most is with the challenge of 15. It's just that scramble to get back, that desire, as you can see. Great scrum, on the front foot. We've got awesome skill here and offload. Off we go. Maggie goes down. And Logopoa just, holds her feet well, but it's just the scramble from the challenge of 15 here to get on the ball. Obviously unlucky with the turnover. Maybe a little bit of a slippery ball, but it's just their scramble that's going to pay dividends later on.
What a year it has been for Renee Nona, for the Reds. Australian Barbarians last year in 2022 when they played Japan over at Sylvan Road. We'll see another good scrum, and the Reds 15 work it out. Dallinger throws that iconic little dink kick in behind, but they'll bring it back for the penalty.
Line. Offside, ball's not out.
Good looking scrum, Quirky.
Great looking scrum. I know that Simon Craig out there, probably with all the girls, he's been doing a lot of work around, getting that set-piece battle really strong and being a bit of a stronghold for there in Queensland. So I know that strip fed down through the clubs as well.
And Craig, he comes into the role this year. He's going to be juggling his new head coach at the Tigers, replacing Ben Moe, and also with the women's side. And the set-piece is thriving as the driving maul goes forward. Another new rule, teams cannot add players to a maul off the line out, so you have to use what you've got. It's going to be a sticking point as the ball flies away. It's stripped out and turned over legally. It's with the Dev 15 who look for the exit, and they hold on. I think that's a good result for the ladies running it in from the north end.
Exactly. Obviously, Annabelle Cody there, strong with her setup. Red's getting a good momentum off there, but I think it's Ronnie Setu just sort of bides her time, holds in, spots the ball here, and very sneakily uses her strength to rip that out, and she's really saved her team there.
And the Reds 15 line out. It's a bit shambolic, but it's grabbed nicely by Rambaka at the back, and now it's with Dallinger working it across the face with fleet feet from Ivania Wong. Quickly out goes Draper, out to the left. Dallinger gets the offload away. Elisai is there, but she'll be dragged down 7 metres out. In the middle of the park, another good run here, and a good offload to Eva Kapani. And one of the latest players to call Queensland home gets the first points of the game. The Reds, Development 15 in the lead, 5 points to 0.
That shot clock there,
Yeah, great shape here. Obviously, I love the difference of playing off 10 and 12 there. So Carey's obviously, and then Nona, stepping up there at first receiver. And then what we all love to see is one of our props striding 7 to 8 metres under the sticks.
Love the story of Eva Kapani. Obviously, Waratahs this year. She's played with the Wallaroos. Beginnings back in Adelaide. She started off, I remember, in the Aon days, pre-COVID. She was getting hyped up to be a sevens player, but still playing in the 15s, and she was caught in a little bit of limbo. Dallinger goes for the kick. Grabs the 2. They're up by 7. And Kapani, I think she got kind of caught between the 7s and the 15s world a bit, but she's moved up here full-time after she did a little stint with the Wallaroos camp and Simon Craig, and I think they really struck a brilliant professional relationship. I guess you probably have some insight on this, that there are just some coaches that you get to work with that you'll go, actually, no, this really works for me. versus some other coaches you get to play with.
Yeah, exactly right. It's sometimes it's just about who's actually coaching you. It's not about the actual system. And Craig has obviously showed some real love and development there. So she's obviously decided to call here home and run with that, and it's paying dividends.
Let's be honest, mate, Brisbane is better than Sydney. As we see a knock on here from the Reds development 15. Opportunity for the Dev 15. They're 30 metres out. Scrum to come.
And I think this is when the shot clock will really come in. Obviously off the back of an awesome try where we're trying to speed up the game with kickoff and then we've obviously had an error. So it's about the speed now and all the girls clocking in to that next job after and not taking the usual minute or two that some scrums are having. So this is when it'll sort of start to look like will start to hurt for some of the girls at this speed.
I guess we'll fill everyone in at home if they're not up to date. There's going to be a greater focus on players getting out of the breakdown, rolling east and west. No intentional knockdowns. Marks inside 50. That's going to be an interesting one. We haven't seen it play out yet as the Dev 15 look to weave some magic up the middle. But they'll lose it in the midst of the breakdown. And now it's back with the Reds 15 as we see another great carry there from Ivania Wong. Have to assume she's going to be on the plane too, heading across the Dutch. Ruled in a few weeks' time to take on the Black Ferns. Now they've got advantage. Kapani's there, but they'll take their time, take the penalty, and off they go.
Again, pretty cynical error there around the breakdown time. But I think what I loved here is the desperation, and you've got someone who is athletically gifted as Ivania Wong here. Sort of getting a team on the front foot, and again, it just comes off that scramble that the Challenger 15 had to go through, and then here we are, we're camped down in the back end of their half off that error.
Good line-out execution for the Reds 15. Now they're in the middle. Here's Nona. Lewis servicing well off the breakdown. Goes herself. Bit of a loose carry there. Michelle Drew, sister of Melly, fullback from the Tigers, in at number 8 today for the Reds 15. Now they're coming across the park. Great simple things, his hands, and it's unlocked the field, and Wong is away. She beats the first, passes back onto the inside, grabbing it off the hip. Ashley Knights, all the way from the Western Force this year, is dragged down to earth. But I think that is a pretty good passage of play, regardless.
Got to release the ball, then pick it up.
Awesome set of skill here, playing from depth, sort of squaring up. And again, we spoke about the athletic ability here from Wong, and obviously awesome support there by Ashley Knight. But just, we've spoken about the desperation as well from some of these girls in the Challenger 15. Just the want to get back, to make the tackle, to want that turnover. That was what it looked like to be an easy 5 points, but sometimes, the grit and determination overcomes anything.
You see the shot clock on the end of the field there, counting it down. They've got a bit of time, but it'll be a nice clean one there for Tolfer at the back. She pops it away for Kapani, who gets 2. She is unstoppable this afternoon.
Just waiting to see if that was her front row partner there. Brianna there with Kapani maybe. So we've got the overthrow here. No, it wasn't. We've got Topher there with just the out the back flick ball. We can't teach that kind of stuff. And Kapani in for a double early on. Not usually do you hear, probably within the first 15 minutes of a game, you see the prop going over for a double.
Mate, not going to knock it though.
No.
Would you run it straight at Eva?
Probably not. and that's the thing. So there would have been a low chop or a grass cut there for that one. So, but look, we spoke about her coming up here.
So we see Dallinger grabs another. They're up by 14. I think it's a good move for her.
I think it's a great move for her as well. It's and it's these kind of games that she's going to be able to get. And that's ultimately for the women's game and what we want. We want more games. We want more things happening for them leading into stuff like World Cup and all this stuff, and going over the ditch is exactly what these girls need at the moment.
Oh, you can see the wealth of her experience is all coming to a head. The good hands of sevens that she would have picked up. She had a bit of time in the NRLW as well, so she knows how to run through a person or two.
I can imagine she knows how to hit as well.
So it's fantastic to see great players getting back into the orbit of Queensland Rugby, even from other constellations, as it looks to be a development 15 line out at the moment. And the game, Quirky, we're seeing a lot of play between the 22s, but it's been pretty hard for a team to defend inside that red zone. Well, it has at least for the Dev 15.
Yeah, definitely. We haven't obviously come across at the moment.
Oh, no, and she's away again, Quirky. Kapani! She's got to bag a hat-trick in the opening 15 minutes. Unbelievable scenes here at Ballymore. That's good.
That is all time. And I don't know if that's an ankle. I think that just might be the 80-metre sprint that she just had to unleash there. Talk about athletic ability as well.
I think if you're the Wallaroo selectors, you'll be watching with delight at this physical performance right now. She's picked that one like a dirty nose. Gone away for a 60-metre sprint, and she was untouched.
Untouched. I don't think we would have been saying that one of our props would be going in for a hat-trick again, as I had stated before, within the first 15 minutes, but here we are. And look, I think she deserves that shot clock to be on pause just for a little bit.
Well, I think it's Dallinger's shot clock. I think her job's done, right? Now it's a Dallinger. And she's going to strike the left upright. It'll be unsuccessful, but the Reds, development 15, they're up 19 points to nil here in the 15th minute of play. Let's relive it one more time just to unpack what's going on here. So that pass, that'll be living rent-free in Maggie Glassick's mind for a little while, I think.
I think it'll be there for a while, maybe leading into that game next week. But you got to take your hat off to her for taking that opportunity as well. Not a lot do we see props shooting off the back of the line out for intercepts. But, yeah, she's obviously picked that up somewhere and had the desire and knowledge to snag that one.
Another restart for the Dev 15. It'll be allowed to bounce, and they'll retain it. Here it is now with Glassick. Takes it in tall. She's got a lot of competition, though. Ashley Knight manages to wrestle her down along with Hannah Lane. Now the pick and drive there from Setu. Strong pull carrier. Also pretty mobile.
Thank you.
Over the left. They're 15. Need to up the ante here. The Reds 15 are coming at them. A lot of speed in the defensive line as they spin it out. One bounce into the hand here of Lawrence. Lost forward though, so it'll be knocked on. It'll be another scrum. And talk about the fatigue here. I think we've already had about 5 or 6 scrums in the opening 16 minutes. I know we've got deep benches, Quirky, but I think if you ever wanted to show your mettle, and I think in the way the game is being played for the ladies, I think fitness is a big one. I think there's never been a greater opportunity to show one's fitness than this afternoon.
Well, when you're looking at sort of 26 deep bench, I'm assuming coaches on either side will just say, you know, bust your guts there for about 20 minutes. And, yeah, so I think too, you know, hoping that they get a water break sooner rather than later. But I think this is probably what we want to see from our game as well.
Well, it's definitely exciting times here in Southeast Queensland, and make sure you're a part of it next year in 2024. Big new coach here for the men's side, Les Kiss. Lots of new recruits and obviously 7 blockbuster fixtures back in Brisbane. Memberships are on sale soon, starting from $120. That's $17 a game. You can get all of that online via reds.rugby.com.
In touch.
So a bit back and forth here at the moment between the two sides. On screen, we do see Ellie Draper from the Magpies Club. Been there since 2019, been a part of the Red setup for the last couple of years. A live wire, but Dallinger, Quirky, she's had a hand and a foot and a lot of attacking plays so far this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think this will be a good game for her, obviously, you know, with higher honours in range for her. I think this will be a really good game for her to get her eye in work out sort of her kicking options with the new rules, and especially steering this team around. I think that's what the Wallaroo selectors will be looking for.
Here it is with Drew. Little pass out now for Rambaka, who breaks through the line. She's got players on the left. Does she need them? It goes right into the hands of Gemma Lawrence. And the Dev 15 will carry it into touch. So it will be a Reds 15 scrum 5 metres out. Or is it a forward pass? I'll have to see.
Here we go,
Good run, though.
Great run.
Forward
Great
pass.
run. But I know I've visited a lot here about that scramble. You've got Gemma Lawrence there getting in that passing lane. That's a hard thing to teach a player in any means. So, you know, the Reds there had oodles and oodles of support, 5 or 6 different players, but she got herself in the right position at the right time. And again, saved her team just that little bit of extra hard work there on the scramble.
Well, job's not done yet. Glassick and Lealiafano, the halves for the development 15. Bit of work to do here. 6 metres out from the line. Off the back, Kulamatangi gets the ball away. As Dev 15 put a bit of space on, but Dallinger gobbles it up, and they're on the counter-attack. Over to the right. Now it's with Draper. Draper still got options outside, goes herself, beats the first 2 before she's taken nicely by Flynn. Now the ball's been stripped away very quickly by Curry, and now it's back with the development 15 just before their 22. Now it's been stripped back the other way, but legally, I don't think so, says referee Palmer.
7 white, not supporting body weight.
This will probably be a well-earned rest as well. I know that these ladies will be looking forward to every little bit of stoppage of play in the heat, but we're talking through, playing with this tempo, and I think this is something that these girls will probably, as we see our first changes early on, around the 19-minute mark. So as we alluded to before, I think a few of these girls have been told to foot to the ground and go for it in that 20-minute increment and just go for it.
Just 2 metres, please, 9. Right here. Keep coming. Yep.
Front row stock's been switched over. Kapani still on the field, though. Looking to have a white-hot crack. Captain Abel Cody wins the line out. Now it's with Rambaka in the midfield, and she'll pop a nice one through and then receive it back again before her offload can't find the hands of Nona. Still alive, though. It'll escape Draper as Wong just keeps it in the field of play and attacks up the tram tracks, but it looks like there'll be an obstruction.
Girl in front. Obstruction.
Yeah, very unlucky there. Obviously, the Reds, the 15, are looking to play that sort of unorthodox scramble footy with balls on the ground and little pops and that. But I think, I'd love to see the kicking come into play. I know we've got that different rule here, as we just said then, just that sort of kicking option. And that's what they're sort of looking for, is to find grass. Obviously, the rule is that mark inside, and wanting to play off that.
And here we go. The kick return bearing some fruit as the Reds 15 scramble with the pass from Lewis and Dallinger. Now with Nona. Spread of 3 players out wide. She finds Wong with room to move. Passes it back on the inside. Back into Wong. And that is a great textbook try on the wing. Any young players pass it through the hands.
Simple had support all over there, inside and out. So Avania Wong, obviously someone who was well deserved of that try there. As you can see, inside ball there, again, had oodles of support. But again, just the simple 1-2 and backing up right in behind.
But let's break this down a little bit further. Like, that looks very simple and easy to do, but there's a lot of work that goes into that kind of play, Quirky. It's not just something that you pick up by playing touch at the beginning of a session. Like, there's fitness, you've got to understand. Probably a lot of things that if we rewound the clocks a couple of years, I don't think we would have seen such effortless play in some corners of the women's game. So that's, I think, a real testament to the rate at which they've been improving over the last 5-6 years.
Massively, and it comes down to just that skill, more skill, and being able to see those opportunities.
Dallinger, 3 conversions will not be the number she gets to at the moment. It'll be unsuccessful. She's 2 from 4 with the Reds development 15 in the lead, 24 points to 0. And we'll get to relive it one more time. And see, it starts here. We're seeing at least, 4 or 5 players getting hands on ball for this phase. That'd be pretty exciting for Craigie to see.
Yeah, and he would want that. He would want that work off the ball, as all teams sort of do. It's not sort of the one pass and job done's mentality. So you saw Wong there sort of reliving and staying in the moment. So that's what Craigie would probably want from all the girls. And you just didn't see the backs backing up there. You saw a couple of forwards just, flying on that inside. And he'd be very pleased seeing that.
Yeah, so 2 or 3 girls across both teams that, by their own back, made their way in to be a part of this competition, looking for some honours next year. The women's game, a little bit different to the men's. Contracts not really exceeding the end of regular season, so they hit the reset button. There'll be a little bit of movement, but plenty of opportunity for players to stand up and claim some spots with the Queensland Reds Super W team in 2024. Now it's with the Reds 15 as they look to get it downtown, and it's a handy kick. I think it was from Draper, but it'll be scooped up nicely by Davidson, who very slickly gets the offload away to Williamson, who gets driven back by Cheatham. Now over to the left to Alungi. Strides away before she's dragged down. The offload game here from the Dev 15 is fantastic. Left to right passing too seems to be
Backwards.
a good one as well. Lawrence loses it. It'll go into touch, so options here for the Reds 15, but signs of life within the Dev 15, Quirky.
Well, that's it. There's nothing to lose here when these games. As I said before, this is where they need to sort of be working each other out. A week or two preparation's never easy, so you sort of got to back yourself on just ability and learning on the go. So I think that's what a lot of these girls are. They're sort of throwing it around there. They're sort of feeling each other's games out, and I think it'll sort of come to fruition a little bit at the back end of this half.
2 knocks, first white, second blue.
Little error here in the line-out from the Reds 15. And possession will swap over, so it will be a development 15 scrum as we move into the final 15 minutes of the first half, and it's been
Just got a few blue subs, girls. Hold on for a second.
played at pretty good pace, and just like clockwork, another round of subs make their way onto the park.
Blue ball, girls. Challenger ball. All right, time back on.
Said before, there'll be
2
some very
knocks.
happy ladies out there seeing the substitutions come, and I know that there's a lot of different numbers and so forth, but I know that there was 15 girls looking at maybe a hopefully me cry, and I've been there many a time.
All right, so when I make the mark, both hookers go to the left. Okay, so not on the mark, so just on the 15, so just shift to the left a bit. Okay, all good.
The field's a bit iffy.
The field's a bit iffy. Okay.
I love that. I think that was Maddie Shuck there. I know her very well. She played down at the Redland Mud Crabs with me down there. She's her and her family have been entrenched in that club for a very long time. So she's a lady that's worked very hard to be in the position she is. And obviously they're wagging the tongue there with the ref. So we want to hear more of that chat.
Now over on the left-hand side, development 15, new player on the park, Talia Ackland from the Toowoomba Bears in jersey 21.
You got penalty advantage, Loretta.
So we see penalty advantage now awarded to the development 15 as they stride away on the left-hand side with Brown. The passes are still very tidy from them as they look to go through. That's a high shot there on Piper Flynn, one of the 7 specialists in both of these teams. Now the pass from Ackland, best field position, and they're playing with the free stroke as the development 15 have got some momentum. Ackland passes it away. Now Hongia gets it through. Over to the right-hand side. It's with Byrne. Party in the back, business up front as she trucks over the 22. Ackland centers it up. This is good from the development 15. Seen another variation in the laws come into play as we see a rampaging run and flying over, looking for their first points. The development 15 are shut out meters away. Now, the big ladies up front put their head into the trough and look to pick and drive their way forward. Nearly a knock on there, but it's still with them.
Thank you. No, that's good. Step back, White. Last feet, step.
Head down, they plough forward, phase after phase, looking for a way through to get their first points of the match.
Line, girls, line. Line. Advantage offside.
Going out wide, they've got penalty advantage again. Only 4 phases, though, they can have, but they don't need it. The first points are there for them. Try time to the development 15.
Really, really well-deserved try there off the back of some awesome individual brilliance. As we can see, it's this, yes, it's that see you later dummy. We haven't seen the wand come out in a long time in a lot of games. I just want to say here to Carey's Dallinger there, just saving that try. That's a one-on-one tackle that really saved her and had to make the challenge of 15 really, really work hard there. But obviously pressure sometimes applies to points, and the forwards up top there just sort of got to grit, did the hard work, and over we go.
And the conversion is good, so the development 15, they are coming in fast here, and they've gotten their first points as we move into the final 10 minutes of the first half.
We had 20, no clear release, metre out, then offside, metre out as well. So just be mindful next time we're back there, eh? Thank you.
The communication too from the referees has been so good around those new rules. There was obviously 2 advantage plays is what one of the rules are working on, just that set play. So he really described that well to the Reds, and especially the challenge of 15 on what advantage they had. And he kept sort of reiterating that. So I think that's really good reffing.
And I think it also highlights one of the rules is 4 phases is one of the conditions to lose penalty advantage. So teams with that advantage 5 metres out, they'll have to think twice about just hammering and hammering and hammering away, because they're not guaranteed to hold on to it. Just like the development 15 right now, they've lost it, it's been turned over, and the Reds 15 have possession at the right end of the park.
That's the statement you want as well. Obviously conceding points as well. Your next job focus off that kickoff is obviously to apply pressure, and that's something that the Reds 15 really did really well then. As you can see here, just sort of a single carry, not a lot of support, but again, girls there. Hannah Lane there, just perfect technique, straight in. She actually crafted that sort of from the angle, which is, again, a very hard thing to teach in and around the breakdown, so kudos there.
Reds 15 had a good driving maul last time they were this close, but they'll go the trick play to hit the front lifter, but be shut down promptly.
Ball's out.
Bit of struggle here for Afui. She wrestles violently, but she will not escape the defensive grips of the development 15, and it will now be a line out to the development 15.
Who's in the tram tracks, girls?
Some really good aggression there from Afui just to stay in. I think there was about 6 or 7 people trying to have a crack at her there. So as you can see here, there's awesome breakdown pressure. But again, there's fight and determination from Afui there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, but obviously just couldn't overcome the pressure.
And that is a superb take up high in the line out
All good.
by the Dev 15, and they'll lose it forward in the midfield, so still an opportunity here for the Reds 15 to attack and get some more points on the board.
I think here too, within generally in this last sort of 10 minutes in the heat, you know, there's been a little bit of scrappy play towards the end. This is where, you know, especially as leaders, you've got your ladies like Dallinger and Leah Lafano really need to sort of step up, calm everybody, next job focus, because you know, within this next 5 to 10 minutes is when mentally people sort of drop off and mistakes happen. So hopefully the Reds 15 can capitalise off this scrum.
Now firing off the back of that scrum, they go to the right-hand side. Another good carry here from Nona. But they'll bring her down. Now the ball back with the development 15 on the far side. Running tall there is Ebbage. Another player who's come up from the Waratahs, looking for a chance here at Ballymore.
No, all good.
Now it's a real mess in the middle of it.
You all right?
I think Might be a bit of an
He
injury
should-
here.
he- he's
Cheatham
time's
is
off.
down.
All good.
I just got sit on.
All right. All good. Girls, we're going back for the
They're
penalty,
keen to
okay?
play.
Holding on.
They are very keen to play. As I said, I love these interactions and hearing them with the referee. Just, I think it was
sorry,
Brianna
one
there
at
just
the start,
letting the referee know that I just copped a boot to the face and I'm all sweet and let's just keep rocking. Don't want the game
girls, I've got the mark
stop.
on, so
So didn't even know there was a shot clock for copping a boot to the face, but there was obviously a minimum of 3 seconds there. Great kick.
This one's our centre. Yep.
So 6.5 minutes left here at Ballymore in the first half of this Challenger Series matchup for the ladies. One of two. Second one will be back here
Yeah, well, one
next
of you,
Sunday, except they'll be on the later slot. That later slot today, the men will be playing. That'll be a blockbuster match here on Reds TV. As Relevant 15 are flying away through the tram tracks, but being dragged out by good cover defence. And there's been a lot of grip between these two sides in the last 34 minutes.
Yeah. Just don't do that again. Okay.
I think we had Alana Elisea there, just chasing her down, using her speed and her knowledge,
space,
sort of
Blue, I'm on
using
the
that
middle.
extra defender down the
One copy.
sideline. Rosie Ebbage there, clean pair of heels. As I said, Alana just, coasting her to that extra defender
time
out there
if
on
you
the
want,
white
yep.
paint and just making
Wait,
very
please,
clinical
in that
tackle
time.
there. So
Okay.
saved her team having to go back an extra 25 metres.
Lineouts haven't been executed
shoulder.
too well this afternoon.
Do you like
Another
this?
casualty.
Loretta, do you want to scrum
But
or a line out?
it's a big opportunity
Line out,
here now for the development. 15,
Line out,
30
straight.
metres out. Last time they got into the red zone, Quirky, it was Point Central.
It was, again, they haven't been down this end too much and there hasn't been that sort of midfield playing. But as you said before, I think with the challenge of 15, they actually put a lot of pressure on once they got into that 22, either with a few mistakes, but we've seen just another missed opportunity there.
Now a couple of fumbles both ways as Dallinger looks to clean it up. It's a good strike from
Yep.
number 10. It'll be taken clean. It was a great return there by Michelle Curry. Over on the left. Pop back on the inside to Paletti. Ackland distributing out to the middle of the park. It'll go through a couple of hands before it's scooped up, and now it's here with Flynn. Flynn gets tag team
Yeah, you're good.
by
Straight there.
Marcy
Great shot.
Nona. Now development 15 looking for a way through. They're going to keep moving it over to the eastern stand to see if the defences are thin. Ackland comes back into the midfield looking for options. Ashley Knight misses the first tackle. Good follow-up, though, by Nona. Right-hand side, little step there from McConaughey. Recently won the premiership with the Uni Owls down in the John I. Dent in Canberra. A little bit cooler part of the world, so it's probably been a bit of a culture change coming up to balmy old Queensland as the front rowers link up. Savelio gets one away. Here it is with Curry. Gets the pop off the deck. Davidson's there. They're still going forward. There's the try line, but they're going to be short.
Line goes 4-step.
Ackland can't get it.
Short. On the line goes.
F15 looking for a way through. Can this be the one that gets them there? It will. It's try number 2. And the development 15 score a beauty right on the back end of the first half.
Great lead up there. Obviously, we're seeing our front row out there mixing with skill. And again, keeping that ball alive in the channel, absolutely crucial. With that Reds 15, we've spoken about scramble all day, but out we're coming here. Again, it was just too much pressure coming. Reds 15 were just having to tighten up on their line. And again, just inevitable to go over for 5 points.
And the drop goal attempt, because I don't think the T was making it out fast enough, is unsuccessful. But development 15, they're closing the gap here. They're trailing by 12, 2.5 minutes left in the first half. I think we're going to see some of the real players start to stand up as this game goes on, Quirky.
Exactly. I think what the Challenge of 15 are doing well here is they're actually starting to find their shape. We said before, a week or two is not a long time to, work each other out. But if there's a generalist shape, then I think these girls are starting to really find those legs in that one. So as you can see, everyone's sucking in the big ones there on the old kneecaps, but 2 to go.
Oh, I don't think it can be understated. It's a very warm day here in Queensland. I think we've just seen a foot to the head, and this is ringing doorbells for me when Cam Clark at the Waratahs copped a Highlander boot to the face off a restart 2 years ago.
Yes, correct. From one of the Highlanders wingers there, the Fijian man. And actually not funny that this has happened, but last night I was up watching the Portugal game, and there was something very similar. Very unlucky there. We're hoping that both sides are okay, but the Portugal player was obviously red carded last night.
And we've got head contact, direct to the head, and not really sure if I can see any mitigation with that though either, to be honest with you, because I know, it doesn't, not intentional, but clearly reckless. It's foul play, and it's direct to the head with force, even though she's been taken in the air. So as that action of being taken in the air perhaps brings us down from a red to a yellow because she's not in control, but she still made that initial lift of the leg. So we'll just go a yellow card, a penalty reversal, and it'll be a white penalty. I think that's the way to go. All right.
Good refereeing there from James Palmer. Doesn't have the luxury of a replay, doesn't have a bunker, which has been, I think, a revelation with the World Cup this year. So he is acting on what him and his assistants can recall from the incident. But, a few different things in play there.
Loretta, sorry, I'm going to need tackler, please, or the ball carrier, Look, I understand that we don't often see this, right? But for me, it's still reckless. It's not intentional. You obviously didn't mean to kick her in the head, but there's still onus on you going up for the ball that you don't put your leg out. So it's that sort of reckless action. So because it's direct to the head with high force, we're starting in the red, but we're going down to a yellow card because of that action of being tackled with one leg in the air. Has worsened it, okay? So we're going to go on a yellow card, and it's going to be a penalty to white, okay?
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that what she is, but
so it's a yellow card.
Yeah,
I understand.
So
what
good
you're
result
saying, got to be
all around, I think. Great refereeing by James Palmer.
Okay, so that's our decision.
And obviously all the best to our player down on the ground.
Hannah Lane, hopefully she's okay. I'm hoping it's nothing due to head injury and it's just a little bit of claret.
Has made it worse, but she still led with the leg, so it'll be your penalty over here.
But as we said before, it's a very awkward one. I saw it last night in that Portugal-Wales game. It's sometimes players jumping in the air, very unorthodox.
We rarely see that. Okay, so that's what
it's very difficult because it's a short answer yes with a but, it's a long answer no with a maybe, and I guess that's one of the beautiful and hard things about rugby union, that there's black and white, but there's 1,000 shades of grey, and I think the referees have a pretty hard job at times having to discern which shade it is. And I think Jimmy Palmer's done a pretty good job here. He's made the best of a hard situation.
Yeah, he's a great job. Look, a player's been injured. He worked through the fact of the early tackle in the air, the catch and so forth. So at the end of the day, player safety is what needs to come to the forefront there. So yes, that 10 minutes does hurt the Challenge of 15, but as we said, we just hope that Hannah Lane's okay there, and maybe one or two stitches to add to the repertoire.
One of my memories pre-Ballymore getting demoed was in the Tigers grand final when Ben Moen had to go off because his face looked like a bucket of smashed crabs, and they had to put a couple of reams of staples and glue into his head and all this tape to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Not to mention all the other limbs and joints that were being held together by tape just so he could get through to finish the game and get his hands on the cup.
I think it was about $1,500 worth of tape a week. I think there towards the end that ended up costing East on the tax bill.
They've got a sponsorship from Elastic. As we see the Reds 15 flying away. Slight pause in play. It'll be knocked on.
Knock on, girls.
Seconds left here. And that'll be all she wrote as we go into half time. It'll be a cracking first 40. The Reds, development 15 up, 24 points to 12. over the Queensland Rugby Development 15. We're going to take a short break. Second half coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back here to Ballymore for this Challenger Series match. It has been all guns blazing. Marty Lippiatt here with you in commentary. Ed Quirk, the first of three for this marvellous front rower. What better start could you imagine?
Yeah, so as you said before, you know, coming up from down south and making home here, you could not ask for a better start. Who's sort of, she can go home and tell family and friends that, you know, within the first 15, I dotted over 3 times, and one was from 80, and so were the other 2.
But then the Challenger 15, they've managed to fight their way back into the game. A couple of tries up the other end of the park from some clustered phase play gets them trailing 12 points to 24 as the second half is now underway between these two teams, and I'm sure there'll be lots of important messages here coming into the second half, but very hot conditions, quirky. It's a long 40, no breaks as well in that first half. It'll all factor in to how this game plays out.
All those new air-conditioned, dark change rooms they've got there in the new facilities probably would have got a well workout, and I know they've got a couple of cold pools in there, so it'll be interesting to see if any of the girls took a quick dip. So, but look, a well-earned rest from these ladies, and I think we've seen a new rollout of players too as we're sort of cracking into this first scrum, and we'll see where the tempo starts from this.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
So ball here for the Reds 15. Now they're going out to the left. Another little kick here coming from Dallinger. Got good roll on it, does it. The players are there, and it will be converted by Georgia Wilson, and it's points in the opening 2 minutes for the Reds 15.
That's what we love to see. Dallinger here, first play off that scrum. Little dink in behind, knowing that fullback was covering across in that middle there part. What a finish too. Obviously the lucky bounce of the ball there, but look, that was a big gamble there. You know, your first play in the 22, first scrum a minute in. Didn't want to build any phases, and yeah, Dallinger putting a nice little dink in. So again, that shows a wealth of experience that she's willing to test that early as she's lining up for this first kick of the half.
So they've come out sprinting. Dallinger kicking at 50%. It's a good strike from the left-hand side, and it will find the flag. She's back in the black, and the Reds development 15 notch up 30 points.
It would be interesting to see if they had seen that at half-time and discussed that. Just that fullback coverage and where we can see, because she's looked up there. There was no other option but to dink that in behind. And again, defence having to stop and turn. Development 15 is always going to win that race.
Now the restart here for 15. It's taken nicely there. Cody in the midst of it. Dallinger flatten away. Here it is with Cheatham. Both of those players contributed in a big way to the Reds Super W success in 2023. Saw them get all the way up to the grand final against the Fijian Drua. Over to the left. More passing back on the field. Tolfa gets the pass back in on the inside. Good speed here from Greenhalgh. And now on the left, it's another good pass. Finishing it off nicely is Wong, and she will slam it down. Try confirmed by referee Palmer. They are off and running in the second half.
Wow. Great use of the short side here. Again, we've just got that interplay between the forwards. Got Alina there down the side, and then as we've seen all that first half, Ivania Wong, and look at that for a finish. That's what you want from your winger, tiptoeing down the sideline, pressing stuff there. Again, 2 dots early on, and we've got Dallinger here with a tough kick from the sideline, but hopefully she's built a bit of confidence from that first kick in a similar position. Just needs to add about 10 more clicks on it this time.
She got some fresh tape on that right elbow as well. She had a great kick from a dissimilar position a few minutes ago. This one will be unsuccessful, but it is a great start here for the Reds 15 as we see them getting it all done, Quirky, in that 15-metre channel.
Yeah, again, I think they might have touched on it at half-time, with that little dink by Dallinger in behind, first of all, and then they're exhausting that short side. So I think they've seen something there at half-time, and they're looking to press on with that. So maybe keep an eye out for that short side every time now.
He's got a sub for 15 blue.
Of injuries. Take a brief moment, talk about the two sides. The Queensland Rugby Development 15. David Baldwin is the head coach from South. Tony Waller from Brothers and Matt Bennett also from South, his assistants. And then we see a great carry coming there from Beck Davidson off the restart. Perfect for the Development 15. Now they've got penalty advantage. It's a good carry there from Prinsloo from UQ as it will be awarded now. They're inside the 22. Great opportunity to grab some points back.
Number 3 wide offside. Turnover by 20 was good.
And as we saw in that first half of the Challenger 15, as soon as they gained a bit of territory and they started playing in this 22, they converted into points. Obviously Simon Craig, and you've got Shannon Parry there and Moses Rolini, so those guys would be looking for discipline here in this red zone from their girls. So, but we're very interested to see. We've got I think we've got a few extra numbers here in the line out, so we're looking for something a bit different here from the Challenger 15.
Line out a little shaky, and we'll see possession go back to the Reds 15. They're inside the red zone.
What do you want to do, Annabelle? Scrum.
Annabelle Cody, their captain today. Famous last name.
Very famous, obviously, after her old man. She speaks about him very highly, very fondly, and it's good to hear Codes there, as every good second rower probably wants to put their head in the scrum and do the tough stuff. So anyone else probably would have opted for a little kick out there or a line out.
There's a bit of irony when the one person who has their ears blocked the most in set piece is the captain. They probably don't realise how much they're talking.
Crouch.
Or she didn't hear it.
Yeah. So, shot clock for the set piece.
Steady.
Playing a big part in keeping the pace of this game going forward as the scrum is turned over by the Challenger 15. Flying over, looking for some points is Tongia. Now they're going out to the right-hand side. Players for days, they've just got to get their hands on the ball. Jammer Lawrence will grab it in the end, but the Reds Development 15 off side. It'll still be ball here for the Challenger 15.
I think we might see an old school tap move here. I think David and Tony might have pulled something out of the briefcase for this one.
Here it is with Brown.
All good, nice work.
Ackland hunting for the ball at the back. One pass out. All good carries coming here. Murphy looks to fly over, but she'll be held up. And isn't that an interesting change that we've seen in the last 24 months, Quirky, how that's turned into a real strength of defensive teams, being able to absorb that attacking play and carry it over into the try and get the goal line restart.
Well, it's sort of not a negative or a positive, but a lot of teams are training for that now to, instead of having that 50-50 fight, to actually hold up to play to the strength of a big kicker, coming out in the 50-metre.
We haven't seen any marks inside the 50 to 22 is on the left-hand side. Michelle Curry runs out of lush Ballymore grass to go forward. It will be a lineup for the Reds Development 15 who go quickly as Dallinger flies it across the park. A few more passes now. It's there with Wong, and Wong decides to spread her wings down the left-hand side, beats the first, gets a lovely long place back as she crosses halfway. Now, Reds Development 15.
All good, where's she?
Going forward.
Midfield, no play on.
Being challenged at the breakdown. Wobbly pass cleaned up by Nona. She'll get it away to Kapani in the middle of the park. The 3-try heroine of the day. The ball will be lost forward, knocked on eventually. Challenger scrum to come.
Yeah, I think the back and forth, it was disappointing for the Challenger 15 not to come away with any points there, but as you spoke about before, being able to absorb that hit actually worked out more beneficial for them by, dinking it down middle and putting the pressure back on. Again, scramble defence from the Challenger 15 has been something that stood out in that first half, and it's obviously something that they're going to hang their hat on, and because the girls are scrambling big time.
Well, I think something else we can all hang our hat on a little bit is that the Saitama Panasonic Wild Knights, they're heading to Ballymore this November, Saturday the 4th from 3:05. It'll be the Reds taking on the Saitama Panasonic Wild Knights from all the way from Japan League One. Your neck of the woods, Quirky.
Yeah, close. Obviously had a lot to do with them and played against them a lot, and through playing Super Rugby with the Sunwolves, played with a lot of the Japanese and the foreigners there. So they'll be coming to light it up big time over here.
And they're lighting it up here. Flying away is Loretta Lealiafano. The chip chase and regather puts them in good stead as Davidson gets them up to the 22, but a great turnover there by Mel Wilkes. Shuts the door on that one.
Holding on.
But yes, the Wild Knights, they'll be here Saturday the 4th, and 2024 Reds members gain exclusive pre-sale access to that one for the tickets. So become a member via redsmembership.com.au. You'll be the first to purchase them and get to pull up a pew at this fantastic venue, which was really humming for finals a few weeks ago, and it was just such a treat to be there on game day to see it all back in action again.
Oh, it's amazing. And I think a lot of the Japanese supporters will come out for that one from Japan just to experience what Brisbane and Queensland's like, and they'll come over to see what Ballymore, the home of rugby, is about as well. They're phenomenal fans, so I think there'll be a big cohort that'll roll over.
As we see a charging run here from Christo Tofa off the back of the set piece, limping in back play, Ashley Knight. She's pulled up a little bit lame, but they'll still plough forward. Lewis off the back finds Dallinger, another kick, her 4th of the day, and it's going to be grabbed very nicely by Ivania Wong, and she is on song for another try, and the Reds Development 15 are pulling away with style.
Well, I think these two obviously have their eye in and very well connected without even seeing or speaking to each other. Said before, I think that, Craigie and probably especially Shannon Parry has seen, the disconnect there in the backfield from the Challenger 15. And look, you've got two classy players there in Dallinger, obviously great kicking game. And then, you've got someone with the caliber of Wong and the speed and the agility that is just attacking those bounces at full tilt.
Ivania Wong, Sunnybank Faithful, has been playing there since 2016. This will be year number 8. She's got a whole raft of premierships, and crossfield kicking in play from Karis Dallinger, who lines up for this conversion. She can get it. She'll get herself back into the positive, but it'll just fall short. But yeah, Quirky, last year, the crossfield, this season actually, this year's gone so fast, I think it was last year. This year, the crossfield kicking from Dallinger, it was, I think, she was really first one to break through the wall. I don't think there were any other Australian Super W10s that were executing these in-play kicks to set up for the wingers. And when you think about it, there are so many, former track and field and other athletes with tremendous amounts of speed. It makes so much sense to do.
Oh, massively. And, you look at, the men's game as well. A lot of games are being won on these attacking crossfield kicks. We said these little dinks in behind, and for her to have that in her repertoire and it's part of her DNA now, as we've seen 2 kicks, 2 from 2. So I think for her to pick that up, from a Wallaroos point of view, that, the selectors would see that connection between her and Wong. And
well, we look at what the counter is there. She puts a few through, then you've all of a sudden got to start dropping someone back, but then that's creating space on the wing where you're having to supplement, right? So I think it's brilliant to see, and it's very innovative in the game, and I think we're going to see a lot more players that will emulate that, especially next year, because the women's competition is going from strength to strength. We're seeing the margins of games get closer and closer, and I think with this National Rugby Training Centre up here, I know they've had a session or two, the Wallaroos up here, since it opened, I think 1, but I've got a feeling it'll probably we'll probably see the stocks rising on a lot of players and coaches and just the comp as a whole.
Oh, people are going to be attracted to wanting to come here, wanting to get better. Again, using the facilities to the best of the ability.
Now Ackland nearly ploughs through referee Palmer as we see Leila Fano dink a little one over the top. She regathered it last time, but it's grabbed nicely by Wilkes, who gets the offload away after beating a couple. Elisaya manages to hurdle over her as she heads back towards the 15. What a carry from Alana Elisaya. Picks and goes again. Oh, but it'll be tackled out of her grasp, and it's going to be gathered up quickly. Here it is with Curry. It's there, it's everywhere, it's finally down, it's been picked up, and now it's with Nona here on the short side. She'll be dragged over. Jimmy Palmer, the ref's got a big smile on his dial, and so do we in the box.
Knock on blue, no advantage, white scrub.
Yeah, I think Jimmy loved that. I think he got to referee a bit of everything there.
It's a white scrub.
So great skill and offload. Again, this little 5-minute channel saw everything. So, and we saw some great shots, great strength here by Elisaya there, just, you know, to have the knowledge to quick place, but then that cover defence as well. Yeah, a bit of a greasy ball, which is what, but then, you know, that's something that these girls are probably coached as well, that any opportunity that ball hits the ground to kill it or jump on it as an opportunity.
I think this is something you can attest to. I think 10 years ago, especially in the 15s game, that the idea of the quick place and go again, I think that was very foreign. I think that's something we've seen come into the 15s game by influence of sevens on the rise, and a lot of these players, Lana Elisaya, Eva Kapani, they've had time in that saddle, and I think it's a pretty positive thing.
Oh, that's what we want to see. We want to see quick ball. We want to see the ball getting moved, and especially from ranging from the men all the way to the women as well. They're all understanding that rule and when to use it, and we almost saw it fully come off them.
Elisaya won't get the rubber to green on that one for the turnover. So it will be a challenge of 15 penalty here. On the 15 as Leila Fano retakes possession, and she'll punch it for the sideline, but she won't find it. Trying to bite off more than she could chew, and now it's with the Reds Velvet 15 as they give it to the pocket rocket. Ivania Wong, she's flying through the slaloms, beating defenders, looking down the barrel of another brilliant try, but they'll drag her down 10 metres out. Oh, a fumble at the back there. And it will be a scrum, and it brings that little stanza to a close, but Ivania Wong, stocks rising indeed.
That GPS would be beeping a fair bit. I think it's getting a bit of overtime work there. Yeah, athletically just amazing, you know, the ins and outs, but it stems from here, that quick opportunity off a turnover to shift it wide, where we probably haven't seen that in that first half. So, and who else would you want to see in space?
Oh, it's brilliant. And I guess the real question will be here that she does all this work. You'll say, where's the support? Where's the person off her hip? And they will probably rue not being there a couple of steps ahead, because that would have been probably another good try for them.
And I do it a fair bit sometimes when you see these...
What, being a few steps behind?
Yeah, definitely. When you see these thoroughbreds running, you sort of sit back and almost act like you've got a bit of money on them. You
Chariots
watch
of
them
Fires
go in.
playing in the background.
100%. So sometimes it's good to see people, you know, I'm not a fast by any means, good to see people run.
Now the question will be here, there was definitely no intentional knockdowns. I think this one was deemed a knock-on by Palmer, but it's been turned over back the other way now. Reds Development 15, ball in hand. Elisaya gets it away to Dallinger, but there'll be a knock-on in the middle of it. So it will be a challenger scrum inside their 22 as we move close to the final quarter of this first game. And it's been a pretty good one, Quirky.
Yeah, look, a lot of running rugby. Again, the girls have been pushing, you know, that skill element, and that I feel like with the challenge of 15, you know, a lot of opportunities down there. I think they'll be just a tad disappointed that they haven't executed them. But hey, these are the opportunities instead of kicking where, you know, there's an opportunity to run.
And I think hats off to the Challenger 15 team. A lot of the Reds Development 15, they've been playing together for some of them for a few years now, so there'd be a bit of cohesion. So I'm very impressed with the display for the Challenger 15. I don't think the score's too representative of how the game has been played between them, as we see the ball pulled out quickly as Leila Fano fends off Renee Nona with a hefty left. Now Ackland working hard off the base, tries to find her way through. Ebbage was there at first receiver. Ackland running out of options. She'll get taken down very quickly by Simon.
Okay.
Now the exiting kick is taken nicely by Dallinger, but they'll come back for the penalty.
14 minutes chase. 14 white.
Like you said before, not a lot of time, but the one thing these girls would have loved is just that lead-in week, you know, getting to know each other. Again, you battle it out, you know, week in, week out in club rugby. Obviously, there's that element of competition and that, but there's nothing better than just a 1 or 2 week just getting to know people and just feeding off each other. So, especially for these Challenger 15 girls, one, it's an opportunity. Two, it's just a good time.
And it's a big step up this year, obviously, the men's and the women getting 2 games. The men had, I think, 1 game last year. So, you know, personally, Quiggy, I'd love to see this go up to maybe 3 or 5 games and really stretch it out for a nice 5 or 6 week window, because I think we'll be in store for some pretty good footy, and I think the bonuses for the development of the players and the coaches, I think that'll be pretty up there as well.
Oh, it's just extra time playing footy for, as you said, one, for the coaches' side of things to get their hands on blokes they don't usually get to.
And ladies.
And ladies, as we were just about to get stuck into. And I think especially, on both sides of the coin, it's just so good for them. And the more rugby we're seeing and the more rugby that, you know, these ladies are seeing and the men are seeing, it's good for Queensland and Australian rugby.
And is also good for them to be getting out of their comfortable ponds as well and having to almost compromise themselves and play a little bit out of their comfort zones.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing. It's not knowing, you know, a lot of these players and having these sort of combinations and these connections where you get to just play free-flowing rugby, really. And you get to play your game, and that's where there's the diamonds in the rough that are going to be out here in these kind of games.
Now one of the country diamonds in the rough, Ackland. She's subdued, tries to have a little sprint around the fringes. It's here with the Challenger 15. Lealiafano gets the pass away, but the ball will be lost before Cody goes for a dink. But it'll be a scrum here for the Reds. Fatigue starting to rear its head with 20 minutes to go. Even Jimmy Palmer's cracking a sweat.
Look, these kind of games, it's the heat does get to you, and obviously you have a slippery ball and everything. But yeah, Jimmy Palmer looks like he's actually having a good time out there with a little bit of sweat on the brow. But I think he's covering some good Ks as well.
We've obviously got a great representation over at the World Cup. Who have we got over there? We've got Angus Gardner, Nick Berry is over there. I think Brett Cronin's in TMO. There's somebody else I'm forgetting too that's over there as well for Queensland. I think it's
Murphy.
Murphy.
No, he was obviously here doing.
Yep. Yeah, but great representation for our referees over in the World Cup as we go head first into round 2. Our Wallabies up tonight at a humble hour of 1:45.
I'll be up there with the kids
watching. I was about to say, do
you
know, I fell asleep on the couch last night and I actually woke up at 1:30 and said, oh, great, I can watch the Wallabies live. And then in my confusion, I couldn't find them. All I could find was Tonga, and then it took me like 10 minutes to realise I was 24 hours short.
I was in the exact same boat. I was up at 1:30 and I couldn't wait to watch our Wallabies go to war, and then I ended up having to go for Portugal at about 2 o'clock at night. So, I had my Portugal chance going.
I went to bed and my wife called me an idiot.
Join the queue.
Yeah. Oh, dear. 17 and a half minutes left here at Ballymore. The Reds Development 15 in a commanding lead, 41 points to 12. So we start to see the turnstiles from the bench turn over. And a little fumble here will be exactly what Simon Craig and his Reds Development 15 team will want. A great platform to attack some 10 metres away.
Again, there, Dallinger, we haven't seen a lot of it, that sort of territory kicking at the moment. She's, been looking for these attacking kicks, but that was probably the first one we've seen today where she was looking for grass, she was looking for pressure, and ultimately ended up with a 5-metre scrum.
And with 63 minutes and change in, not one mark inside the 50. And, some people question, was that a sensible rule? But I guess the fear of giving away cheap marks will probably encourage the players not to do so and kick needlessly.
Well, that's it. It's not that we're not seeing that back and forth sort of kicking battle where you're having to just sort of coast between those 40s. And ultimately, it's just giving us a bit more running rugby.
Another great scrum here from the Challenger 15, but the Reds pull it out. Here it is with Dallinger. Inside ball! And there's the hat trick for Wong. She was denied a few minutes ago, but she comes in off the wing and nails it from the base of the set piece.
Yeah, obviously set pieces under a bit of pressure here, but great to get that ball out. And then these two have just been, beating the same drum all day here. So just an amazing connection. Again, would love, the Sione Fukuoka and Moses Raulini, Shannon Parry, they'd all be very happy with that connection. Again, obviously these two have spent a fair amount of time together at training in other games, but at the same time, it's pretty hard to stop. And again, that's healthy for Queensland Rugby as well as up top.
Well, everything that's happening on the field right now is healthy for Queensland Rugby, a host of players, and this is a really interesting one for me, Quirky. Anna Fui, the New Zealand-born, she actually now qualifies to play in Australia this year. She won the Serena Worsley Medal for 2023. That's best and fairest in QPR for 2023. One thing that's really interesting about her is that nationally, I think the vibe is when we're running a little bit low on 9 stock in the women's game. So I think head coach Simon Craig, he's recognised something in her and he said, let's get her into the fray, because if she becomes a legitimate option, he's got some high praise for her skill set. So might be a player to watch as she manages to get that restart as Dallinger puts it away. So it's interesting to see those kinds of conversations and those ideas. Simon Craig seems to... He's a bit of a wheeler and dealer, old Craigie, and he's playing the long game, and I like it.
He is, and I think he notices that depth is key, like in all positions. But you look at the best teams in the world, when you look at their 9 ranks, a majority of those 9s are world class, and so are these two on the the Reds development side. And as you said, Craigie really looks for that. They're their game drivers. It really depends on that if she can come on and speed the game up. So it's crucial, and they've seen that.
And the line out goes by way of the Reds development 15. Middle of the park, little pass there from Rumbaka. She stood up fantastically. There was a question about her performing at this level of the game.
Ball down, please, not yours.
She's doing well, but Shannon Simon there will lose it. And now it's here with the Challenger 15, 14 minutes left. And the breakdowns have actually been hotly contested today.
Very hotly contested, but I think the thing that I've really enjoyed, obviously loved this part of the game, is...
Oh, another coach killer. Doesn't find touch off the boot of Leila Fano. And now, Reds Dev 15 working hard on the left. Afui will get it away. Here it is now for Rambaka.
New advantage, 6 blue, high
No.
tackle.
Playing with free money, the advantage. They work it across the field. But they'll come back for the penalty.
6 blue, high tackle before that, not rolling away. 6 blue, high tackle before
And this
that,
all
no
stems
tackle,
just from
no
that
roll.
penalty kick not finding touch. So unfortunate there for the Challenger 15. Free hall pass for the kick of Dallinger now to send her team back to the other side of the field. Line out to come.
Yeah, great building of phases. Again, it just sort of comes down to that little opportunity of missed kicks. So, but the way that the Challenger 15 have done all afternoon is they've scrambled well, they've fought hard for each other. So we're probably going to see again, as you said before, a hotly contested breakdown and a bit of pressure there. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of happens in this side of the half.
12 minutes left and a good take up high there by Captain Annabelle Cody. Sets them up. There's some players caught underneath the driving maul of the Reds development 15. No new players can be added, so they can just keep on marching forward. This is unreal. There's 25 metres clocked by the Reds development 15. They can't add any more. They just have to sit back and spectate does the Challenger 15 side. Advantage being played. They added in too many. And now they've got it inside the 22. Dallinger throws it onto the boot. Who's going to have a go? It's there beautifully for Ella Sire. A step off the right. Good night.
Wow. How good was that? Gee, Simon Craig would have his boots off up there in the coach's box. 30 plus metres rolling maul. I think Annabelle Cody had the best view there, pretty much sitting on the seat and riding that all the way home. Again, Dallinger's kicking options. There was every option to just go through the hands, but, you know, the sheer brilliance in that kicking option. So we're just stemming back here. Look, Simon Craig, he loves them all. He loves the setup. He loves that hard grit work. They've started at halfway and they're coming into the 5. Obviously, you said with the new rules, we've copped advantage there. Dallinger's read that there's advantage there. Pinpoint in the breadbasket. Still a lot of work to do there, but that is gold class.
Speaking of gold, Dallinger has iced a beauty from the right-hand side of the field as the Reds Development 15 are looking to really drive this one home in the final 10. All I could think of in that whole stanza of that driving maul was that every school that sings, you know, oh, when the Saints go marching in, they just trotted 30 metres towards the hill. And I think any forward that's watching, a tear in the corner of the eye will ensue. But then the fleet feet of Ellis Sire to not only take the catch and then dodge 2 tacklers, unreal stuff.
I think there would have been a lot of forwards looking at that when that maul collapsed as Dallinger hit that crossfield kick, that if it was to go out on the full with no advantage, I think there would have been a few upset ladies there after that much work that went into that maul.
A bit of a kicking duel here in the midfield. No side taking the optional mark that was available to them as the Reds Development 15 look to unlock Draper on the left-hand side. Pops it away nicely there for Shuck. Now it's back with Rumbucker, but she'll leave the field of play. Enterprising play from the Reds Development 15. They are really enjoying the tram tracks at the moment.
That short side, they're absolutely loving it. It's just the support. You just look here, the lines are perfect. Obviously, we're seeing that last stitch there, put on the paint. That opportunity there, very close. You could see Maddie Shuck there, just a bit disappointed. She thought she was going to be dotted over there.
She came along for the whole ride, and then the boom gate shut right at the end. And now it'll come back for the Reds. They take the option for the line out. So the Reds Development 15, a huge opportunity here to replicate their feats no more than a couple of minutes ago.
Girls, don't leave the line out. Make sure you create a gap if you're doing that.
I think Annabelle Cody's done really well in this set piece where she's just made the call very early. There hasn't been any procrastination at all about what's ifs and buts on a scrum or a line out. She's just within 2 or 3 seconds made the call. Obviously disappointing miss there, but it's the captaincy lead that, you know, she's led really well in that regard.
Now the gate's been left open for the Challenger 15 as they embark on a mission of their own here in the shadows of the McLean stand. Pulled out quickly by Classic into the middle as Amelia Byrne gets torn to pieces in that tackle. Shoulders are still warm here at Ballymore with 7.5 minutes to go. The Challenger 15 pressing on.
Good turnover.
Players in the thick of it. It's been turned over, and the Reds Development 15 steal possession. I think at the bottom of it all, it was Anna Afui who's enforced it. Great result.
Great result. They were obviously getting a good roll on there, and again, we keep talking about it. This breakdown contest between these two teams there's going to be a couple of sore heads and shoulders, as you said just before, but it's just this breakdown pressure on both sides. Yeah, it's been a good little battle to watch.
I've really enjoyed too. You know, we saw when sevens really started to take off, we started to see fewer players go between the codes, but then you started to see the form factor of both really start to individualise itself in Australia. And I even think to a degree the way the women are playing the 15s game, they have different strengths to how the men play. And we're seeing that. I think the breakdown zone, huge area for easy turnovers and also a place you've got to defend hard.
Yeah, and you know, these ladies have worked very hard at that. Again, you know, Simon Craig, he would be hounding these girls about their breakdown skill.
Oh, and through the middle, Mel Wilkes, what a run, slices them to ribbons, try right in front of the sticks, and this is turning to be quite a fantastic afternoon for the Reds Development 15.
It's a great set-piece start, and it's just that line. You know, it's the little in and out, and look, half the battle there is that determination and that wanting to run and get that go forward. So, it's well deserved. She has been, you know, running the tough lines all day and distributing very well, Wilkes. So I think that's a well-deserved little try for her.
You know, she's one of a triplet.
Would love to see the other two.
Are they also going to play 14 and 15?
Well, maybe it would make commentating a little bit easier.
Now it's falling to the boot of Fui, takes over from Dallinger with 5 minutes left. She's going to have to move quickly. James Palmer's just cracked the whip. And I'm a fan of these quick turnaround times for kicks off the tee, especially when they get them. So it's flags up as the Reds Development 15 grab a 50-point lead against the Challenger 15, and there are just certain specialists, Quirky, that when they ply their trade like this, they're untouchable.
Yeah, and that was, you know, 3 defenders beaten there. So I think, you know, you speak about untouchable, and that was that sheer determination to the line.
Restart here for Tuana.
Got a re-kick. Re-kick option. Re-kick. Re-kick, girls.
A re-kick here now for the Challenger 15. Will be allowed to bounce before it's grabbed up by Draper, who flies up over the 22. Ooh, and the pass there from a Fui, too wild for Rambaka to reel in. As we move into the final 4 minutes of play here, victory for the Reds, Development 15.
Okay, scrum option.
But it'd be nice to see, Quirky, if the Challenger 15, they could get up here. 3 minutes left, get over the sticks one more time, get some points in the second. It'd be a nice consolation prize for them.
It would be. I think there's nothing to lose here. A good starting point here. You know, you've opened up the whole field. We've seen what, you know, the different kicking options with wingers holding width are, and especially from these Challenger 15 girls. They are, you know, they have a lot of experience here with Leah Lafano sort of running the stock really well. So I'd love to see them open up something here. You know, that's a little bit of a trick play, but we're off quick here.
And off goes Byrne. They got the half-arm penalty at the scrum.
It's another free kick. It's over here. No.
Another free, and she's trying to burn rubber.
Not back 10.
But they'll reel her in. They've got the half-arm, and now they'll take the tap and give it to Sedu, who in turn pops it away there for Ebbage. Pass is going out. There's lots of players out here on the left for the Challenger 15. Striding away nicely is Brown, still going forward. Is there someone else to help her? Oh no, but Wong's in the middle. She stripped it, but Byrne has stripped it back. It's a bit of a mess as the Reds Development 15 try and drag them towards the try line. But it will be a turnover. That one went back and forth a couple of ways, but it's come up red.
Again, Wong just coming from that opposite wing just to save that try then. So great strength on all fronts with all the carries there. But again, what we don't see a lot of people, we see a lot of people sort of taking, you know, taking the low chop or the high tackle, but she's attacked the ball there, which we haven't sort of seen all day, which is another thread to her bow defensively. And I think we're going to see a bit of pressure here from the Challenger 15 scrum. These girls have just been off their feet. The tempo's been really high and it's been really good to watch, but it's sort of these crucial moments of the last 2 minutes. A scrum, 5 out, where if there's that little lapse in concentration, that can be the difference here.
Final 90 seconds. Ball's here with Afui. Gets it away, and now they've got 90 metres between them and some more points as the ball will not find the hands of Wong. Back is the call. They're still going forward. Now it's with Draper. Up on the 40. And good turnover here for
Back where the bodies are.
the Challenger 15. 60 seconds left in what's been a fantastic match of rugby this afternoon between these two sides. Lots of talking points. It looks like they'll go to the boot of Tuana, the Cook Islands Rugby League World Cup representative.
Great kick there. So, look, I spoke about it before. Nothing to lose here at this back end. There's going to be a lot to draw on for both these sides, and the best thing about this is we get to see it all again next week, and they're all going to become more refined. They know each other a bit better, so I think we're going to see an awesome spectacle again.
And it's a good line out there, taken by Ebbage. The Toowoomba local, played for Downlands and Gordon down in New South Wales. What can they manifest here? The Reds driving maul, it has overpowered them, and it looks like it's been turned over too, so possession will stay with the Challenger 15, off and running is Glassick. She passes it a few more times, and here it is with Kulamatangi.
Roll out, White. Roll out. Yeah, good work.
Glassick finds Lealiafano. The hands looking to be a good option as Ebbage charges forward. They're not going to give up possession cheaply unless the Reds development 15 rip it away from them. It's there with the Fui into the pocket, and the clearance kick will send it all the way down into the hands of Curry. Curry pops it back outside. Here it is with Ebbage. It'll be back is the call. It's a bit of a scramble, and now it's with Wilson.
Take it back on side, girls.
The Fui gets it away. Here it is for Cheatham.
81 minutes of play too. I love that the girls are just still at it, still wanting to play, especially from that Reds development 15. They're ready to go.
Challenger 15 still going forward. Ebbage has a good carry.
Okay.
It's been a long afternoon for many of the players. Pauletti
Go back 10 metres. 9, you got penalty advantage.
still with penalty advantage. This game is far from over. Passes end up with Prinsloo.
Be very careful. You can't just come in with a swinging arm. Right here.
It's been a good game so far, but the Challenger 15, they're not done, and they want to find some points as Davidson barrels through a couple of defenders. Glassick over to the left. Lealiafano sits. Georgia Wilson down. The big captain 5'8" gets up over the 22. With Pauletti again, the front rower.
Open up. Thank you.
All the players showing some real ticker. A little juke and weave there from Prinsloo. Classic. Looking for someone to break through. Sedu's up next. Lealiafano flies it out there for her backs as we see Michelle Curry, ball back in hand, running out of a bit of room. Her team rallying though, keeping her in the field of play. 83 minutes on the horizon. In the middle of the park they go. This is stirring stuff from the Challenger 15. Tongia took the carry. Now it's here with Davidson, and the passes will be missed.
Well, it's a knock-on only for these games.
It'll leave the field of play, and that'll be full time here at Ballymore. The Reds development 15 get the victory, 62 points to 12 over the Challenger 15. What a game, Quirky. Both sides fighting to the bitter end, and it was all Reds development 15 in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. There's huge positives from the Challenger 15. David Baldwin, he'd be really happy with his team. Just the grit and determination, as we said, 83 minutes, as if these guys weren't tired enough. They wanted to just keep the ball in on both sides and just play relentlessly. So, but we saw some great play. Obviously, Dallinger just on a dime there with a lot of her kicks. 3 tries came from kicks, so that's a huge promise there for those Reds girls. And we've talked about untapped potential from that challenge of 15. Some really good stuff.
41 unanswered points in the second half. A massive scoreline. Wong, wasn't she brilliant across the day? Scores that one in the corner. She gets denied a little bit later. But like you said, Dallinger just seemed to have her boot in so many of them. The way that one sat up was just fantastic.
Yeah, it's just, you know, a kick's as good as you chase, and a lot of those tries with those kicks were just pure determination with carry and kick and chase. So, but one of the hotly contested areas was just this breakdown. It was ruthless on both sides. I said there'll be a lot of sore ladies tonight, just with how rough it was in that. But that's what we want to see.
And the set piece, what a central part it was for the Reds development 15 here. It sets up the platform. Ivania Wong comes in off that left wing, slices through to the fence, scores the try, but they weren't quite done, Quirky. Another kick special. This is the try of the day for me.
Yeah, definitely. Still a fair bit to do there, but we've spoken about the kicking prowess. It's just amazing to watch. It's rarely do you see someone with all those kicks in their armoury.
And they finish it off with a bit of class. They cracked the 60-point margin, and what an individual effort there from Mel Wilkes. Definitely putting her hand up to Wallaroos selectors going forward with the tests across the ditch coming up. It's been a brilliant afternoon here, but it's not done quite yet. The boys are up next. Make sure you stay with us here on Reds TV. Quirky, thank you so much for your company, mate.
Awesome. What a great day for footy.
Well, that's all she wrote for the ladies. The men are coming up next. I'm Martin Lippiett. We'll catch you next week.
Hello and welcome to Ballymore for the 2023 Challenger Series. The Reds development taking on the development 15. This is the first of 2 games over the next 2 Sundays. It's a hot day here in Brisbane, but Ballymore looks an absolute treat. Michael Chettle is my name, and joining me in co-commentary this afternoon, former Queensland Red and Wallaroo, Kiri Lingman. Kiri, this should be a cracking afternoon of Premier Grade Rugby.
Yeah, that's right, Chet. It's great to be here. Good reward for these boys off the back of a successful store local hospital cup season, and I'm sure they're pumped to go.
Plenty of names out here this afternoon, and we see the Reds development team with the grey jersey on, and we see the Challenger 15. I'll tell you what, reading these team sheets this afternoon there, Kiri, they've got some talent in the Challenger 15. It's going to be exciting to watch.
That's right, a good mix of young talent coming through, dispersed and along there with some experienced players.
As Lawson Crichton kicks off, and it's a big kick that goes into the halfway. There are some new laws here this afternoon as well, so we'll talk your way through as Melly Drew takes a first run. Wershon at scrum half. Goes down to the left-hand side. The little grubber through by Josh Fluke, the vice-captain. The ball might kick up here for the blindside flanker and goes over the sideline. Good, strong start, but Kiri, yeah, a few different rules this afternoon. And look, it's every single year they have a new set of rules, but this one, there's a few things like use of the shot clock on the kicks and greater focus on the ruck and maul as well.
Yeah, a few interesting additions from the refereeing here. I'm assuming just to speed up the play, clean up those rucks.
As Cupper goes off the top from the Brothers Club and goes out the back door there. We'll have a chat about the lineouts because there's a really interesting take on the lineout ruling as well about adding extra numbers. As Pappen gets plenty on that, doesn't go off now. A chance for McLaughlin Phillips. Looks up, tries to get on the outside, gets just on the outside of Sumalangi, the hooker from Bond University. Molly now inside the 22-metre line now. The Reds development going through middle with Max Craig. Max Craig, the try-scoring machine. Wershon gets cleaned up. Over the top of the ball is Korchek. And Korchek, he gets his first penalty of the afternoon. And it's warm out there today, Kiri. Just I tell you what, it's great to be, watching from afar.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of water coming out onto the fields. You just saw Adam Korchek over the ball. He just returns from a stint overseas and saw through the week he had a few words to say about being back in Queensland, donning the maroon again. He's excited to be here and playing amongst a few of his fellow teammates that he had in the past.
He's been since coming back from overseas, you're right, Kiri, he's been a really dominant force, and him and Pat Murray in the back row for University of Queensland. I'll tell you what, they're like a absolute pest at the breakdown. As Cupper goes off the top again. Badabasanga straight through the middle, only 5'9" and 115 kilos. Gets on the outside is Pappen. Pappen couldn't find that pass. Johnston, short pass there. Good little bit of interchange there for the Challenger 15. Johnston just picking his targets. Edging up the middle of the track. Oh, outside pass then to Nakabulai. Oh, it's a numbers down the left-hand side. And here we go, Mataitini. Rissa Mataitini. There was daylight in front of him. And what about that for a start, Kiri Lingman? Here we go.
Well, no one else to open up the scoring this afternoon than Varesa Matatini. He was the top try scorer of the Store Local Hospital Cup this year. And he is continuing his trying streak here as we see this beautiful player, Pio Nakubuai, flicks off and finds the hands of Matatini at the end to finish it off. There was no one in front of him and he was over clean.
What about Cooper Whiteside just getting that right arm free and popping it through? And I tell you what, you don't want to give Mataitini any opportunity. And wow, what a start. You see the shot clock down on the left-hand side there. So the shot clock is really important now as Whiteside to convert the try with under 10 seconds to go. So no success there for Whiteside. So So usually the shot clock and set plays, goal kicking, etc., scrums and line-outs. So if they don't comply there, Kiri, it's a free kick for a non-compliance at the point of the restart. So that's a bit of initiative to get that kick off the tee. And now the restart. Kurandrani just drops that ball. Plenty of experience from Chris Kurandrani.
Yeah, it just looks like there he might have had the next phase in mind before he was able to collect that one. It's a great start from this challenge of 15, Chets. We spoke about the dynamic of coming together as a team with so many different players from different clubs and how hard that is stringing that together in a few weeks, but challenge of 15s have made it look easy so far.
So what do you do in that scenario there? Is it just really basic stuff over the lot with Coach Elwie Prinsloo? Is it just basics you bring to the game?
I think so, also focusing on your own job, and then when you get to the game, allowing it to open up the way that it has and using the individual skills.
So, penalty now. And McLaughlin Phillips now to find the sideline. So, Kira, new line-out ruling as well now. I think it's really going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, very interesting one here. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. So the ruling for this is that no new players can come into the maul once it's initiated. Basically what it means, the players that you have in your line-out will be the eventual players that are allowed to contest in the maul. So no one else is allowed to come into the maul once it's initiated.
So numbers are set now. First real opportunity, the ball popped up. Oh, Messi on top for the Queensland. The Reds development, beg your pardon now. They seem to have got out of trouble there, but now the Challenger 15 holding up. Referee calls once now. It's all the same bodies as started the line out. And well, the Challenger Development 15, they held that ball up, and that's strong carry.
It's a good win by the Challenger 15 and a good way to show just the micro skills on the maul. If they're not executed, it can go astray. As we see here, the best throw was a bit high and he wasn't able to bring that ball down below the first player coming in to take it, and just left high, and the Challenger team jumped at the chance to get this ball back.
You don't get many opportunities, do you? And I tell you what, if you make a mistake, quality players of this level will make you pay. And here we go, 5 metre scrum now. Johnston from South's Rugby Union Club.
Okay. Same mark. Get your height up and bind up. Okay.
So Seth Agassi on the tight head side up against George Francis from Souths. Sunday afternoon, it's hot. What else would you like to be doing but packing scrums? And there's no response from Kiri. There we go. That's an answer there. Me neither. I don't want to do it either. So Johnston there. So the penalty now for the Challenger 15. Big kick there, getting down just on the right-hand side of the 10-metre line.
Yeah, on your side. Yeah, that's fine there. Okay.
And George Francis popping his head up there, but the referee saying bringing that scrum down. That's a good reliever 5 metres out from your own try line, isn't it? And Bartlett goes off the top, a skew whiff.
Both teams now having a few issues with their set piece, as to be expected, as we were talking about before. Having only a short amount of time to prepare for this game. Many of these boys probably playing with each other for the very first time. Set piece can always be a bit finicky in games like these.
Wershon, who's represents the West Bulldogs. He's had a very solid year, the scrum half. Big push. Lachlan Phillips goes out the back door. Crichton goes out to Ryan. Ryan steps back on the inside, beats one. Can he beat 2 or 3? No, gets inside the 22-metre line. This is good opportunity now for a free run at the post now. Lachlan Phillips calling for that ball he wants, but the Challenger 15, numbers are there, goes out to the back again, and Greeley chips over the top. Will the bounce be favourable? And it goes all over the dead ball line. And Navasalangi, he cleans that up, but you don't want to give the Reds development team too many opportunities in this part of the territory.
No, that's right. And a great piece of expansive play here from the Reds development, going from edge to edge, as we just see here, working all the way down the sideline to Tim Ryan before heading all the way back to the left.
Tim Ryan, I tell you, he was playing in a back line full of superstars, and he stepped up in the 2023 season. Tim Ryan was absolutely sensational, and there's not much of him, but geez, I tell you what, he's a motoring machine. And now the same numbers have to stay into the maul. Max Craig at the back, slowly drifting towards a try line. They're going to be hard to stop here. And try time, and who comes up with that one? If it's going to be Max Craig, he said he loves this kind of stuff. It is too.
Well, we were speaking about top try scorers for the season, and Max Craig, he was another one, equal second for the year with 12. Mostly off the back of that move there, the rolling maul. And he's found himself in the perfect position again. Not to mention executing a fantastic line-out throw.
So in this new scenario here, Kiri, and you're a forward, would you change your mentality of who to throw into the line out at this so close to the try line? Does that change anything at all with no one else joining the maul?
I'm not too sure, Chets. It'd be interesting. Normally with you set up in your maul, you have your bigger props towards the front and your loose forwards at the back. But with the lesser numbers and potentially not having anyone else joining into the maul, it could be more of a strategic option to have your looser forwards up higher.
So as the game goes on, see how Reds development coach Les Kiss and Ellie Prinsloo bring those new tactics into the game. So plenty of reserves on the bench this afternoon, a whole wealth of talent, and I guarantee you with the heat here today, there'll be plenty of rolling subs as the ball goes high, just outside the 22-metre line. Well presented there, and Bryant, who has had an enormous year, the number 8 for South. Short passing to Blake. Can he get the ball free? No, he can't. Great tackle there by Brad Cupper. Lachlan Phillips goes out, and Fluke just gets on the outside, and again, down the left-hand side of the park is Connors. Connors been busy, has had a really strong year, Lachlan Connors, for Bond University. Minibi. Lachlan Phillips calling back on the inside of the vice-captain Josh Fluke.
Hold in front.
Crichton digs deep, goes inside the half. Now acceleration here by Whiteside. Whiteside looks around, jinks around, sees a whole wall of defence. Over the top of the ball is Anderson. Connor Anderson, no.
He was straight on it, and you were there. 13 not rolling.
So Connor Anderson was okay, but Josh Fluke, he was at fault there.
Another one of those calls that the referees have made clear. More of a crackdown on the ruck. Josh Fluke, thought he was hard done by that call. Seems like his teammate was over it, but unfortunately, he's been called for not rolling away fast enough.
So Connor Anderson through the season, well over 13 turnovers, so he's a turnover machine. Look, he's on top of the ball there.
You just see there, Chets, the speed at what the referees that they want the players out of the ruck. Josh Fluke, he was barely on his feet, but he was still called for the penalty.
So Bartlett takes the throw. drifting inside the 22. Well set up at the back.
Still going.
The challenger 15 now
No, that's once now.
with Bartlett, who started the whole
Hughes.
movement. He picks the ball up again. Can he get the arm free? No. Over the top is Greeley. Picks up and drives now. Here come the development 15. Francis only knows one way. No bells and whistles there with that run. Sulisiosi. Kurandrani goes to first receiver. Decides to go to the right-hand side back to Badabasanga. Could that be a try? Yes, it is. Well, came from nowhere too, and I think as well. Well, he looked up, he didn't even know where he was at the time being, and the try's been awarded right on the white chalk there, and geez, I tell you what, the Challenger 15 are really asking some questions of this defence.
Some good patient play there from the Challenger 15s. Staying well within that 5 metre channel, just working away at the defensive line. He managed to grab that one and just twist his way towards the try line.
So this Challenger Series. Oh, conversion successful, but this Challenger Series is also next Sunday afternoon, so back at Ballymore next weekend for another action-packed afternoon, but these players, again, giving their all. Don't miss it next Sunday from September 24th, 1:15 for the Reds Development Women, and then against Development 15, and then the men's directly after that. So Johnston now getting Herbert, the captain,
Use it now.
over the top. Goes back inside the 22. Want to get to Nakabuai. Nakabuai looks up. Did he use his support? No, he doesn't. Gets away from one. Shows a dummy again. Over the top is Bryant. Bryant latched on. Bryant, well played. John Bryant. Wershon takes a quick tap, looks around. Little left foot step. Wershon puts on the afterburners. Goes back on the inside. And Harry McLaughlin-Phillips, big right foot step. Shut the gate, put down the glasses. The 9 and 10 combining nicely down the right-hand side of the park.
It's a great linking play between the halves, pairing there for the Reds development. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips, junior Wallaby at the moment. Very young, exciting, up-and-coming player. As you just see here, penalty over the ball from Connors. Louis Wershon, he was off and away with a quick tap. Finds his teammate, McLaughlin-Phillips, who still had a little bit of work to do, but some great footwork, and he was over for his first try of the afternoon.
And watching Harry McLaughlin-Phillips through his career of late, geez, it's exciting. It's, you know, Queensland Rugby is in a really good spot with the young number 10. He's very talented. Crichton with a conversion. You've got to be quick, don't you, Kiri? All over top was Bryant, and all of a sudden, beg your pardon, it wasn't Bryant, was it? I think it was Josh Fluke, and then all of a sudden, it was Bryant, beg your pardon. So all of a sudden, Ben, they make you pay. So restart now, just on the outside of the 22. Perfectly weighted kick, just pops over. Matai Tini offloads and finds the opposition's jersey, goes all the way down through, and now Badabasanga lines up, goes straight into Sankey. Sumalangi down the left-hand side of the park, getting away from Tim Ryan, and now Herbert, the captain again, supporting like every good number 7 does. Right side into first receiver, Kurandrani straightens up. Kurandrani drives through, no tackle made there. Great run there by the number 12. Advantage. Goes out to Bartlett, Shawbar. Oh, around the backdoor pass again. And it's a free shot, and the penalty goes back for the initial infringement of a late tackle. Well, a lot of heavy breathing out there at the moment, Kieran. You look at this Reds development team as well, and in this competition last year, guys like Connor Anderson got an opportunity for the development team and then started playing for the Queensland Reds. So it's not just a throw together game. This is a fair dinkum kind of, let's see who we have.
Yeah, it's a great initiative that the Reds have set up. The 2022 Challenger Series, I believe it was 12 players from that series last year, actually went on to debut in Super Rugby for the Reds for 2023. So fantastic opportunity of that middle tier representation of these players to put their best case forward for their chance to play Super Rugby for next year. So really exciting to see the mixture of talent at the moment. You've got the experienced players like Vanessa Matatini playing with the young guns like Willem Johnson, and just seeing them perform.
Oh yeah, Connor Anderson coming out of that heavy collision, but I think you'll have to get a Mack truck to get him off the park, the number 7.
That's pretty much been exactly it. Yeah, it's been 20 gone.
So 14 points to 12 here, 20 minutes gone, and a penalty opportunity now for the Challenger 15. And the shot clock goes on in the background there, so 30 seconds to get this line out in, so trying to quicken things up today. Now, Bartlett. The ball's at the back. Can it be a 1-2 punch here for the Challenger 15? Sumalangi at the back, the number 2 from Bond University, and he does get the try, so it's a square up there. Both hookers getting a try in this afternoon's match.
Another well-executed rolling maul with a hooker to finish it off. Molly Soai-Melalagi has been a bit of a stalwart at the Store Local Hospital Cup. Spent a bit of time at Sunnybank Rugby Club, currently with Bond. He's also done a few stints with the Red Squad and the Melbourne Rebels, so quite the experienced player himself. Very talented hooker, obviously putting his talents on display this afternoon with a try to his name.
So the hookers in every team now, their eyes light up like dinner plates when there's a 5-metre scrum. Who would have thought many years ago that top try scorers of the competition would have been your number 2? But to get that perfectly right there, Kerry, that's a real weapon in your game, isn't it?
Must be nice, Chet.
We always just set them up in the old days for
right.
hookers. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Whiteside, he gets the conversion. And Cooper Whiteside for the Western Bulldogs club as well, and he is a point-scoring machine himself. And again, down the throat, outside the 22-metre line. Another Salangi, able to give him any room as well, and trying to just bend that line backwards here.
Okay, use it now.
No rush, no for any of these players after their long season. Pappen, Nakabulwai, puts a little right foot kick through, and you can hear that very early by the referee. That's touched him. Now, one of the other rules as well, Kiri, is taking a mark in your own half. So that's going to be an interesting play on kicks, isn't it? You know, kicking along the ground there. And be interesting to see the first mark that gets in their own half. It's a real different mindset.
Yeah, that's right. Also giving the returning player the opportunity just to have a bit more time to think about what they're going to do once the ball's collected.
So Korchik goes to scrum half. Cuppa. Just slowing things down a bit, trying to get the structures going. Kurandrani now just falling over the halfway. Tackled by Bryant again. Short passing here. Sulisiosi. Bartlett just tries to get his nose through. Whiteside playing first receiver again. Anderson goes over the top. Gets away with a high shot there, I think it was, but a busy tackle. And Bartlett again has been busy, the GPS second rower. Chip over the top by Pappen, goes up and high.
Number 7, high tackle. High tackle, number 7. Just on the 5.
So just that contact across the chin there for Connor Anderson. It's a, as we know there, Kiri, it's any kind of contact with the head now, which is a good ruling, and that as well is going to be a penalty every time. And you've got to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, as we just see there, Anderson
Over the 15.
going up a bit too high with the seatbelt tackle.
So driving through the middle, straightening things up now, the challenger 15. Looks out to the right-hand side, and Kurandrani tries to pierce the back line again. Johnston looking up. Sulisiosi had a handful of carries so far. Whiteside first receiver, shows, accelerates through. Can he get through again? Whiteside really getting through that line of defence. Ollie Bartlett. Who else would it be this afternoon? Korchik with a couple of light steppers there. Herbert. Just taking some time, and Whiteside goes to the boot, goes high, a little bit too high, is it? No, it's not. Oh, great contest in the air. Over the top of the pill now, looking up, referee as decides to go to the scrum.
Team was in last possession, it was unplayable. There's no one clearly in possession, guys.
What about that for an aerial contest there, Kiri?
Unplayable.
Take a look at this. Haven't seen something quite like this in a while, actually, Chet's. Absolutely nothing in it. Could not tell you who has that right now. So the referee's obviously made the right calls, unplayable.
So that's what you call in racing a photo finish. I'll tell you what, you couldn't split hairs in that one there, but now a real opportunity for scrum pressure. Great to see how the veteran for Agassi against the other veteran, George Francis, on this side of the park. Quick tap by the scrum half. Dives, ducks, gets very, very close, and held up over the try line.
Yeah, probably shouldn't call back. No, it's on me.
For the challenger side, win the penalty. And Willem Johnson thought he saw a sneaky gap in there, but he's held up over the line, and he looks to be a bit worse for wear because of it.
So be a part of the new era for Queensland Reds in 2024 with a new head coach, new recruits, and 7 blockbuster fixtures back in Brisbane. There's never been a better time to be a Queensland Reds member. Memberships are on sale starting soon from $120, and that's only $17 a game. It's a new era for Queensland. Will you be a part of it? Head to Reds Rugby to become a member today. How good's that going to be, Kiri? Reds, Ballymore, feels like the old days, doesn't it?
It does. Very excited for next year's Super W season and Super Rugby season.
You okay?
We're just coming out to this ground a couple of weeks ago as well. Just the amazing, the new stadium, and it's just such a McLean stand. It's such a, great to see Ballymore back to life again. Big kick here over the halfway, and now Kappa straight hard through. Sulisiosi. And for Agassi, the old taking on the young, and I mean that respectfully as well. Kurandrani trying to get that right arm free with support by Pappen. Now, Whiteside goes to Pappen. This time not the greatest pass in the world. Pappen gets away from Minibi. Big weight advantage there. And some fresh legs now on the park. Goes out the back door. Kurandrani goes and hits the ground. And Navasalangi tackled by Fluke and Greeley. Kurchik.
That's fine, not held.
So Colin Cooper-Jones, the scrum half, fresh legs darting around the park. Back on the inside. And goes way over the sideline, but coming back to the first penalty.
9 offside.
Just a few passes starting to go astray for this Challenger 15 side. Just a little bit of fatigue starting to set in, but I've been really impressed with both sides actually in this opening half of how well balanced their attacking has been, particularly with the combination so new for each side. Obviously a lot slower than normal, but I'm sure the heat would have a large part to play in that. It's very hot out there today.
That was the call I got.
It is stinking hot as well. You saw the women's team beforehand. There was plenty of water being consumed, I guarantee you. That is the order of the day. Now, here come the Challenger 15. They're up 19-14. Just taking their time. Max Craig at the back for the Reds development, directing traffic. Plenty of chat now. Penalty advantage. Kurandrani first receiver. Goes out to Nakabuai. The two wrecking balls in the centre. Pappen. Left foot step. Accelerates through. Can't get away from Brian again. He is like a machine into fence. Colin Cooper-Jones. Short passing. We've got a little bit of a... Was that half a falcon there from Brad Cupper? But another penalty opportunity. And this has got to be sapping on the energy here, Kiri, for the Reds development squad.
Yeah, that's right. Back-to-back penalties for Reds development, keeping these Challenger 15 side well within try-scoring range. And they'll have another go at the line here, about 5 metres out.
Korchik goes up. Driving through the Challenger 15 now, taking their time. Picks and drives, goes straight through the middle. There's another try for the Challenger 15. Well set up, good concentration.
Another very well executed rolling maul from the Challenger series. And once again, it's Molly Soai Melalagi to finish it off. As we just see here, great formation from the Challenger 15 side, and the back pod starts to break away, but they stay nice and compact and tight. And Soai Melalagi just joins in the end. It's that final player to cross over for a second for the afternoon.
The big body of the hooker at 118 kilos, very hard to stop. So Cooper Whiteside now on the clock, 24-14. And strikes it, makes no mistake. So as we were saying before, they're carrying first to 2 games next weekend as well, so it's a good opportunity. Plenty of reserves to have a run today, but this week and next week. And who would have thought this time of the year still watching rugby in Southern Hemisphere anyway, because it's so hot. Now, Kurandrani accelerates through the line.
Ball's out.
Can't get away from George Blake. So Melly Drew there, could have taken the mark there, takes the line on. And the last-ditch tackle by the fresh legs of the scrum half. Goes out the back door, can't hit the target. Fluke out to McLaughlin Phillips. Already got a try this after. Oh, he meets Blake in the middle of the park. And George Blake, I'll tell you what. I beg your pardon, George Francis. Wrong George there. Short passing too. There we pick up. Great pick up by the winger.
Was it on the pickup, was it?
George Blake, George Francis. Too many Georges out here at the moment, but George Francis really lined up McLaughlin Phillips and, yeah.
Well, the Reds development, they'll get a bit of a reprieve here. I think with a knock on to Ben Navasalangi, just as he was picking it up off the loose ball.
Just strap it up. Okay.
So we see the physios and water runners out on the field, getting water to some very tired players.
Well, I'm very surprised. I haven't seen more fresh legs come on at the moment, but obviously they might have go as hard and long as you can, and a new team comes out in the second half potentially. So, but look, the amount of players in this challenge of 15, you know, Souths have represented with 7 players, and Jeeps with 5. So East with 3, Brothers with 3, Uni with 2. So it's a good variety of every club in this competition.
Yeah, that's right, and it's what you'd like to see in this kind of fixture, that it's not just a training run for Reds players. To have those boys that have really performed in Store Local Hospital Cup have the opportunity to sort of play at that next level.
It's not always going to work.
Let's go, Molly. We go, George.
Okay. Let's get set up and I've called time back on now.
So all of these players playing against their old teammate, their current teammates. So usually John Bryant from Souths on the Reds development taking on Cohen Herbert. So both of those two young back rowers playing in the Souths colours against each other today. So it's a bit of fun playing against your teammates. And now Wershon. Crichton goes back to the inside to Greeley. There's that man Bryant over the top. There's Kurandrani. Little deft kick through. The ball kicks up and Whiteside standing on the wing there, looks around and sees a wall of defence, and Melly Drew and also Tim Ryan. With Josh Fluke as well.
Let's use it now, it's available.
So Nakabuwai just puts that ball down, turns around, and opportunity gone missing there, and
It's like the ref wants to come back and have a look at this tackle here. Josh Fluke obviously appealing that it's completely accidental.
I think just a penalty only because he jumped into it. Boys pulled out.
Yeah, there's 2 guys in there as well. Okay. Well, it's just going to be a penalty. I'll explain. So there is a clear jump into it. He has landed dangerously, and they put him in a dangerous position. So it's just going to stay a penalty. Okay? Simple. How many is that now? 6.
great work by the captain, Cohen Herbert. How many is that now? 6. Just planting that seed in the referee's mind.
One of their many jobs.
I love it.
It's a good insight to the referees just then, Chet's sort of talking through the reasoning behind why it was just a penalty. So we take another look here. 2 players, Josh Fluke, Badibasanga gets tipped above horizontal. The reasoning, so there may have been a bit of a jump into it and they haven't gone through with the tackle.
It's not a maul.
So turns around Herbert, hits and spins. Can't get away from Tim Ryan and Agassi.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Big, high, ranging kick. Calls the mark outside the 20, inside the halfway. Here we go, McLaughlin Phillips. He looks around. He goes back on the inside to Drew. Drew passes out Tim Ryan. It's a foot race down the right-hand side. McLaughlin Phillips, he's still there. Wershon, pass back on the inside. And the 9 and 10 combine again. What about that one there from the new variation of taking a mark inside your own half? What about that 70, 80 metres try time?
Well, Chets, we were very much just shown how to use that new ruling to the very best of your ability. As we see here, this is just fantastic individual brilliance from McLaughlin Phillips. Everyone pauses, thinking that the mark is going to take a kick. It's a quick tap. Melly Drew in there in support. Tim Ryan in support. The pop doesn't land, but Lewis Werchon picks it up and finds McLaughlin Phillips, who crosses over for his 2nd try of the afternoon, and it's by far the most spectacular try we've seen this afternoon.
Make no mistake there, Lou, that McLaughlin Phillips was on the ground before Wershon passed that ball. That was sensational stuff from the young man.
We spoke about him a bit earlier. Current junior Wallaby. We can see why. Very, very talented, young, exciting player. So we take another look at this replay. All I can say is that if this rule becomes something that's reoccurring in games, there'll certainly be a lot of teams re-watching this try.
Well, they've answered our questions. How do you attack out of that one there? And a driving tackle through and a penalty.
Low danger.
So coming up as well, the Satama Panasonic Wild Knights are coming to Ballymore Stadium this November. Saturday the 4th of November from 3:05. The Queensland Reds take on the Panasonic Wild Knights from the Japan League 1 competition. 2024 Queensland members gain exclusive pre-sale access to purchase tickets. So become a member at redsmembership.com.au to be the first to purchase. Tickets limited, so you don't want to miss out. Fluke gives the ball out there. No, he doesn't. He takes it through, and Anderson supporting. Max Craig calls the ball, but coming down the left-hand side. Oh, look out. Tim Ryan comes from the other side. He goes to Greeley, and the wingers combine, and that's a great try for the Reds development. Matt Greeley and Tim Ryan down the left-hand side. Well, back-to-back tries.
Well, Chets, they haven't had a ton of possession in this first half, but when this Reds development back line has ball in hand, they are absolutely damaging. So we just see the speed on the outside from Tim Ryan. He was away and finds his winger, Matt Greeley. So we just see here, Josh Fluke breaks through one defender, gains a few more meters. So just a great little play on the blind side. Reds development players all over the place, and some beautiful support play from Greeley there. He crosses over for his first try of the afternoon.
Matt Greeley in the 2023 season beating well over 40 defenders in the competition, and the first game of the season against Jeeps, I think it was there, he scored an absolute bell ringer of a try, beating like 7 or 8 players. So you don't want to give Matt Greeley any opportunity at all. It'd be nice to have this kind of pace there, Kiri, get on the outside. And
it would be nice, Chats. I'd already be setting up at halfway by this point.
Yeah, I know my limits too. So the restart goes over the top, and now Ryan gets involved again. A little short passing, and Josh Fluke puts on the afterburners, goes out again to Greeley. The ball's okay. And again now, that is Lachlan Connors. Good support there by the blindside flanker. Comes up and gets monstered by Bartlett. Fluke, big high pass, and that is a rib tickler. But Anderson, he cleans that one up well. Wershon goes back to left-hand side there. Greeley, he's hungry for another try. Nibby rumbling through the middle, but well taken by Barabasanga.
Off feet. 2 not supporting body weight.
The Reds development side just coming alive in these dying minutes of this first half. They've had all the possession in these last few minutes and the momentum. The penalty starting to creep in for the challenge of 15s. Reds development will take a line out with about 2.5 minutes to go in a pretty prime position, as we just see here. This lovely play, just silky skills through the hands. Once again, just showing why that support play is so crucial.
The ball goes down and flicks out the back, and Cullen Cooper-Jones finds the dirt. Now Greeley, what will he do? Can't get away from the tackle. Lets the ball go in contact. Wershon wants to go down the left-hand side again, and here goes for Agassi. Does he get off to his front row partner? No. But Basanga over the top and pilfers. Great work in Cuppa. He is wrapped up. Couldn't get that arm away. Wershon. Big high kick. Now here we go again. Is it a mark? No. Drew. Melly Drew from East Tigers. Accelerates through the line. Turns around and gets monstered by Herbert.
Pause there.
Blake.
No clear lift.
Taken out by the second rower. Both second row partners been very busy on both teams this afternoon.
Advantage, 10.
So not Rollo away. We hear the hooter in the background there. Sankey
That's one pace.
putting the shoulder into the defensive line. Crichton double pumps and finds McLaughlin Phillips. And he gets down the left-hand side of the park. Here's Connors again. In and away. Goes straight over the top. It's a turnstile and a speed bump. And Lachlan Connors from Bond University has owned the left-hand side of the park in the last 4 or 5 minutes. And that's a try just to the breath of half-time.
Well, Lachlan Connors, he's been busy all afternoon and just showing quite a bit of speed himself as he finds a mismatch out on this edge. And only a back line in front of him, which wasn't going to stop him. And he crosses over for a very well-deserving individual try as we head into half-time.
Well, he's been a very impressive human being for Bond University this year, coming back from a serious injury over time, and in a very well-capped Bond University forward pack. He is one of the real standouts. So conversion successful, and what a turnaround, Kiri, in the last couple of minutes there. That's half-time. The Reds development just at the breath of half-time, 33, and the Challenger 15, 26. We're going to have half-time and be back in just a few moments. So welcome back to Ballymore Stadium for the 2023 Challenger Series. And Kiri, it started off like a house on fire for the Challenger 15 with an early try for the Challenger team. But yeah, it really came an arm wrestle, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Both teams like bulls out of the gate. Very high scoring first half. As we just see here, Max Craig crossing over for the Reds development first try of the afternoon off the back of a rolling maul. A lot of fast play. Louis Wertron here takes a very fast tap to link up with his halves pairing, Harry McLaughlin-Phillips, to score his first try of the afternoon.
And this is where as well it was a square up, wasn't it, really? It was but both hookers. Look at Sumalangi at the back here, really concentrating. As we said through the call, these guys have only got together a couple of weeks, and but what about this one here, Kiri? It was the new laws, and what about this for a try?
That's right, by far the best try of the afternoon. Harry McLaughlin-Phillips once again putting on display how to be strategic with the new laws of taking a mark within your 50. Went through quite a few hands before it got back to him, but he was the one to finish it off. Bit of individual brilliance there from the young fly half.
And what about Dithty on the left-hand side of the park? Tim Ryan showing a real clean set of heels, and thank you very much to Matt Greeley. Matt Greeley, it was him and Daylight in front, and yeah, he can run. But what about this last one for the half? This is a great back rolls try.
That's right, Lockie Connors with the mismatch out wide. He busts through two defenders to finish off the first half.
The Reds development, they just put back-to-back tries to really steer the game into their half, but Ellie Prinsloo now just going back to the basics. There's some talent there on the squad, the water runners and everything. So that's nice to see some former Reds players there running the water for this team.
Yeah, you see Scott Higginbotham is always one of my favourite players as a back rower myself.
There's a few laughs and smiles down there, Kiri. I tell you what, it might be Elwie's South African accent maybe they can't understand at the moment. But yeah, he's a good relaxed atmosphere, but these guys are playing for plenty this afternoon.
Yeah, that's right. And like you said, a nice relaxed atmosphere, but just a great opportunity for these players to show off their talents before most franchises start to head into their pre-seasons for Super Rugby 2024. So
Kiri, I know you're retired from the game and doing other things now, but do you miss pre-season? Stupid question.
I don't know if anyone would answer a yes in rugby to that question.
Because all seasons start earlier and earlier every year and that as well, and you see people now running around and think, geez, I tell you what, there's not much of a break anymore, is there? Yeah,
that's right. And, you know, for us here living in Australia, it's always the hottest time of the year. So, no, it was one of those things of the game, a necessary evil, but you're always better for it at the end of it. So
you look at the end of the season, don't you, with the guys like the team brothers taking out the premiership this year, and also Bond University for the women's, all those little extras, that all counts near the end of the season, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes it does, and particularly seasons like Store Local Hospital Cup where you're playing 2 rounds, home and away. It's a very, very long season, so those pre-seasons can be pretty crucial to the success of your team.
I can just see the Challenger 15 just having a last huddle before the second half action.
I've been really impressed with this Challenger 15's team this afternoon, Chats. Big squad, 28 players. So a lot of players to sort of work out combinations with only a short amount of time. Been really well balanced and patient when they've had the ball in hand. Number of tries to their name in the first half, so it'll be interesting to see how they adjust to any changes. It's a lot of players to sort of shuffle through today and get back on the park.
Especially the big tall winger Shane Kennedy from the East Club, number 22, has had a real standout season for the Tigers, a real stalwart of the club. But to tell you, he is one of the safest in the business. I know you've got an affinity with the Tigers, Kiri, and great to see how they went this year, but barreled out in the semi-finals. But keeping that same team around for quite some time, it's a real positive. Now the Reds development team we're scoring a few quick tries just before half time. And let's see what fresh legs we've got out here for the second half as Cooper Whiteside. He's been quite instrumental in the first half, the number 15.
Oh. You good?
And we're underway for second half action. Goes up high, and the sun there now is just becoming a real problem. And Max Craig.
On the 15 if you want it.
There was nothing wrong with that one there, just an accidental.
Offside.
He couldn't get out of the way there.
Here we go, boys.
So first opportunity for the second half.
Just had a few loose hands off of this restart from both sides this afternoon. Chet's not sure if the sun has a factor to play in it.
So Korchik takes it cleanly. Now, again, setting it up, going through. The referee calls it first. Francis, does he want the ball? No, the scrum half just says, you go forward. And remembering, no one can enter unless they're in the line out. So numbers have to stay as is. Drifting to the left-hand side now. Driving through the middle, George. Francis turns around. He'd be hard to stop. Well, they've stopped him.
Held up. Goal line.
Max Craig in there as well. Who else was coming up there? Was it Lachlan Connors? Doesn't score them, but protects them as well.
It was a valiant effort from this Reds development side. It's a challenge of 15. They threw absolutely everything at this maul. They had all their numbers in and then back out and rolling around the back as we just take another look here. This back pod veering off, and then
All good?
George Francis straightening up and going again. And you thought that he was loose, but Max Craig just slips his right arm under there, and beautiful patch of defense from him.
I'll tell you what, you're $1 to score that try there for George Francis, but great work. And the restart now is the challenge of 15. Run it straight and hard, and the ball comes back, and the scrum half comes back out to the right-hand side. Will Sankey, who was in that with Max Craig to save the try, both East Tigers. Alan Cooper-Jones out the back door now is Pappen. Pappen dips through the line. Can he get the ball away? He doesn't. Holds on tightly. Supported by Kurandrani. Cupper, who was an enormous for the Brothers club this year, the premiership winning team. 2 tries in the first half for the hooker. Suliciosi still getting through plenty of work. Sanger offloads Max Craig underneath. Pappen, first receiver, shows and goes himself. Up around the chin there. There's an opportunity now for the challenge of 15. Bartlett straight through the middle. Now fresh legs coming off the park. Now is Kyle. Fred Kyle from University of Queensland. Whiteside, right foot kick, sun's in the eyes there. Goes a little bit too far.
They get another crack at it at the penalty. You can just see Whiteside. It just came off his foot.
Hey, Gray, high tackle.
Looked like on the inner part of his foot, so it didn't land quite.
So the advantage, sorry, this was talk about the advantage there, Kiri. We spoke about what are the rules are if the advantage is over, adjudicated following 4 phases of play or a significant line break. So haven't seen much of that yet, or a perfectly executed kick. So that would have been I think in the letter of the law there. So the challenge of 15 now with another opportunity.
We're off the mark.
Can we see a hat trick from that man there, Sumalangi? I think we will. Yes, we will.
Molly Soai Melalagi with a hat-trick this afternoon, just reaping the rewards off the work of his team. They've been impressive in the rolling maul this afternoon. And once again, great throw to start it off. Just see how compact and low they are. All hips are going directly forward. This is just more work 101. Trying to keep all of their feet on the ground as much as possible with little steps. Excellent set piece team try.
So reaping the rewards. The hooker gets his third of the afternoon. So Whiteside with opportunity to level the scores. And drifts to the right-hand side, goes down to the 4X Hill. Everyone's been at Ballymore. They have experienced 4X Hill on a very busy day. It's one of the great places to be in rugby. Great place to watch rugby from, isn't it, Kiri, on that hill as well. It gets very vocal at about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Certainly is, Chet. Some of my fondest memories, finals footy on that hill.
Goes up and high, and a contest in the air now, and the ball goes backwards, cleaned up by Fluke. Flick past to Wershon. Now, here goes Crichton. Crichton out to McLaughlin Phillips. Greeley. Over the top there is Shane Kennedy. Nearly fell on the top of that ball. Legs in the air.
Thank you, 6.
Crichton going to first receiver, and big long cutout pass, and the sun starts to get a little bit sketchy down that side of the park. Sankey hits and spins, gets that ball back, just taking some time now. Crichton back on the inside, looks on the aftermath, shows, goes, pumps all the way through, and Melly Drew. He goes like a hot knife through butter, but great pass back on the inside. And you can just see Lawson Crichton just starting to take control at first receiver.
Oh, Melly Drew, another one of these exciting young talents coming through. It just runs a beautiful line straight through the Challenger 15's defensive line and throws a dummy in there just to add a bit of flair and crosses over for his first try of the afternoon. Some fantastic footwork from this young fullback from the East Tigers.
And Lawson Crichton's had a wow of a season there. It's so good to have a... When you look at the modern day rugby, you've got McLaughlin Phillips, first receiver, Crichton, Fluke, Drew. That's a real benefit in a rugby team to have so many different points of attack.
Yeah, that's right. And it certainly shows this afternoon with this Reds development side. They haven't been dominating the percentage of possession, but when they do have the ball, they're certainly making the most of it.
So the Reds development go a little bit further ahead. So 40 points to 31. So 71 points scored this afternoon. I don't think that's going to be the final score, Kiri. I think we're going to see a fair bit more in the next 30-odd minutes.
Certainly a score-trying fest this afternoon, Chats.
So fresh legs now for the Challenger 15 as well. Well-deserved break for the starting 15. The ball comes out again. You've called it again, Kiri. Yeah, very messy in that restart.
Particularly in that corner, Chats, it seems to be sort of a sticky point off this restart. I'm not sure if it's just the angle of the sun the players are having to face right in that position on the field.
And those kind of restarts and taking them cleanly to Super Rugby level, it just has to be done, doesn't it?
That's right.
So fresh legs on the park. Jaden Christian comes on in jersey 24. I think Noah Nielsen as well from the Brothers Club also coming on, so the Butcher's stripes. Now, quick tap. Kurandrati calls more Pappen. Got a dangerous right foot step, the number 10. Over the top of the ball now is the Reds. development.
Holding on.
I think that's Matt Jekyll. Well,
14,
Jekyll,
stay
he's
out.
just come back from overseas. Well, and he's been enormous for the GPS club.
Oh, he's just read that one beautifully. Textbook Pilfer utilises his teammates with a chop tackle and speed over the ball.
Are you in or are you out? Thank you.
Lachlan Phillips out to Fluke. Out the back door. Short little pass now. Greeley gets on the outside. Greeley and running behind a
Obstruction. Yeah,
attacking
he's
player.
Going straight behind him.
But what about that
Going
passing
straight behind him.
between very talented players? And
Melly Drury threw his hands up as soon as it happened. He knew it himself. It's an accidental obstruction here. As we just see some beautiful shift work. And Mac really just running in behind Melly Drew and unfortunately blocking the path of Navasalangi to make that tackle.
no poker face from Melly Drew there, was there? He threw himself under the bus. Here we go now. So the Challenger 15 with an opportunity. Fresh legs on the park. Porchik can't handle the ball. Goes out to one of the try scorers of the first half, Connors. Shifting down the left-hand side of the park. McLaughlin Phillips just gets out to Drew. Melly Drew starting to find some opportunity against the Thai defenders. Short passing, both second rowers combining with each other. Great work by the tall Timber. Agassi, the skipper. Crichton gets out of trouble. Good short passing. Again, Fluke back on the inside to Greeley. Greeley again, just hitting that right shoulder. But now tired defenders, they're starting to find some passes in that traffic.
Time off called by the referees. Both teams will take a few breaths, very welcomed breaths in this afternoon heat. So we just see the replay here. Great little passing. Lachlan Phillips wasn't able to collect that last one. Unfortunately, it's been knocked on.
So just be a part of the new era of the Queensland Reds in 2024 with a new head coach, new recruits and 7 blockbuster fixtures back in Brisbane. There's never been a better time to be a Queensland Reds member. Memberships are on sale starting soon from $120, and that's only $17 a game. So it's a new era for Queensland. Will you be a part of it? So head to Reds Rugby to become a member today. So $17 for a game, I'll tell you what, that's value in itself. Sitting in the stand on the hill having a lemonade, some chips, ticking every box.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
So Colin Cooper-Jones taking his time, and the referee puts a straight arm up.
Standing up, loose head. 17, standing up. You were okay. Other side, loose head, standing up. Yeah, you were square. You were fine.
So new Reds signing Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen from the Norths Club as well, coming up for the number 18 jersey. So one of the new signings for the Queensland Reds in the front row.
Yeah, that's just where you are.
It's good to hear before the referee, clear communication on the infringement. Great refereeing this afternoon. It's a tough job at times.
It's a very lonely place, isn't it? Now, here we go. Nielsen goes out the back door to Cooper-Jones. The scrum half has brought a real spark since coming on in the first half. Looks like Harrison, I think it's Harrison Usher there, just in the contact. He's in a world of hurt, the number 17 from Bond University. It looks like a lower leg injury there, but
looks like he just got caught, unfortunately, underneath his own player in the way. Hopefully nothing too serious. He's just come onto the field. Packed his first scrum and did very well, earned the penalty.
a little bit of friendly fire there, and the front rower. Beat him tough in the front row, but not happy with coming off. But yeah, look, that's unfortunate. Yeah, as you said, Kiri, just coming on and getting some friendly fire around the ankles in contact. So yeah, it looks like the metal studs got caught in the ground, twisting around, and I think anyone who's watched any kind of rugby will cringe at that kind of stuff. So let's just hope it's not too serious of an injury, just not a long injury anyway, as we see another scrum with the team in possession. Ball pops up again. The referee puts the whistle to the mouth, but he says, no, let's play on. Pappen. Big cutout pass now to Kyle. Fred Kyle represented the Hurricanes under 18s. Pappen, first receiver, starting to get a bit more involved now and getting the hands of the ball. Pappen out to Kurandrani. Gets that arm free. Just can't get that pass to his support. Another shot. Here we go. So with the advantage, that's after one phase. They go for a high bomb kick. Too much pepper.
This Challenger 15s, they'll have the penalty to have another go, but they certainly grind away when they have the ball in hand, building a number of phases there with Cooper Jones. Tried to put the kick through with the advantage on his side. Unfortunately, didn't pull off, so they'll have another go here. We talked about the new variation on this line-out, Chets. We haven't seen any short line-outs, interestingly, trialled just yet.
Cuppa goes up again. Now, will we see 4 from the hooker? I think, I won't say, oh yes! Sumalangi goes for 4. He's got to stay on for the whole game. He'll not even get 6. So the hooker, he gets his 4th for the afternoon.
Molly Soamelangi, 4 tries this afternoon. With this one, interestingly, he had a bit of work to do at the end. Some great vision from him here. He can just see the maul's moving forward, but no one at home in that A defender spot for the Reds development. Just biting in too much for the maul, and he peels off and straight through. It's a solid season for Bond University this year. He's faced a bit of injury, a nasty concussion towards the end of this season for Store Local Hospital Cup, so it's good to see him back out there.
Well, that was a timing, I think that was there. So, and Francis Sulisiossi has been hooked to the T runner.
I think so, Chets. They did talk about having a buzzer of some sort to sound off when the shot clock went down. Just taking another look at this maul. Well positioned and executed.
So the restart now. Nielsen trying to get on the outside, hits and rolls. Tanner Wilson in the 19 jersey for the Reds development squad. Crichton looks up, goes out to his Ferraris and gives it out to, oh, missed the tackle there, and Greeley gets on the outside. Spencer Jeans now coming on fresh legs, the number 9 from Bond University. Fluke first receiver, Greeley getting involved, and also as well now Drew. Tim Ryan accelerates through, gets pulled back in a last-ditch effort. Big contact there, well read for the defence, but they just get the ball on the outside there, and that is Crichton again, gets wrapped up. Jeans, sharp passing. Trying to go out the back door again, and Greeley, short pass, wasn't watching the defensive read there by, I think that might have been Sean Farrell. But getting plenty of hands on the ball out the back door, passing as well, and just missing their mark on a couple of those passes.
It's a good defensive read of play from the Challenger 15s, but as you said, Chet, this Reds development side, working down the park, they're just making it look easy, getting their meters, but fortunately, a few errors creeping in, just not making the most of their possession.
So plenty of fresh legs on the park. Jaquel in the number 20. So used to watching him wearing his orange headgear, which stood out, but has ditched that part of it. Oh, short arm penalty now. Coming out of trouble. Will the scrum half want to go again? He does. Whiteside. High kick here, goes inside the halfway. Drew calls the mark, takes the quick tap again. Here we go, Drew. Gets over the halfway line. Jeans, bit messy, pops that one, came off the leg. Crichton was taking in that contact, and now that man Jaquel. Straight running, eats a bit of dirt there in the face there, and now short passing, front runner front. Greeley gets on the outside. Greeley goes backwards before going forwards. Matt Greeley looking at, he'll score, yes he will. Well, there was nothing going on there, but Matt Greeley, he can turn on a dime, and he gets his second for the afternoon.
Matt Greeley, fantastic individual try there. As we just see here, lovely offload, and Matt Greeley, he thought he was going to run over to the sideline. He turned a corner and just put his head down and found the very edge of the try line.
Well, I'd have to say that was two front rowers combining, and Jeffrey Tuamanga-Allen offloading to Josh Nasser, who's coming back. It's his first game of the season. But that was a sensational stuff. There's nothing better than two front rowers combining.
Nelly Drew there also going for the quick tap off the mark. So certainly a lot of strategic options to explore with these new laws, Chet. So it's good to see the players making the most of these law variations approved for this game.
Well, from that first one in the first half with McLaughlin Phillips, really it's a template now to go quickly, isn't it? So what about this? Beats one, beats two. Turns the players around. And Tyler Campbell just couldn't match it with the pace of Matt Greeley. So Whiteside again restarts down towards the 16th man, which is the Sun at the moment. So getting into the final 19 odd minutes of this match, and Jeans puts up the high ball. Goes up high, and Campbell And a quick tap taken down the right-hand side. Jeans, Spencer Jeans. Oh, it's a foot race. Jeans, will he get mowed down? No, he won't. Spencer Jeans shows plenty of pace for the scrum half. Gets winded for his troubles there.
Spencer Jeans, he might just need a few moments to get his breath back. Also had a fantastic season with Bond University. So you just see here the penalty for what looks like obstruction. Spencer Jeans just takes the quick tap and he's away. No one was going to catch him from that point.
Just fell awkwardly on the ball there with Whiteside coming through. So, well, that's great play. He looked up and saw a broken line of defence, and Spencer Jean, a cheeky little halfback and always asking questions. Really enjoyed watching him play over the years, and a real character. And every team needs a redhead in their team, and they've got one here for the Reds today. So don't forget, next week we're back here at Ballymore next weekend for another action-packed afternoon for the Challenger Series. Don't miss a minute next Sunday. From 1:15, the Reds Development Women take on the Development 15, followed by the men at 3:05. We'll see you be here next week, and it's going to be an interesting to see what both teams take out of this first matchup as McLaughlin Phillips asking questions of the defence. And Noah Nielsen, the captain from Brothers, got over the top of the ball, and Nielsen has 13 plus turnovers in the 2023 season, so don't want to give him an opportunity.
Noah Nielsen still on the high of winning the Store Local Hospital Cup Premiership this year. Makes an impact early on.
You'd have heavy legs after the celebrations, wouldn't you, of winning the grand final? So it's probably a really good hit out for the Brethren team. Oh, here we go again. Could this be a long range for number 5? I don't think it will. Well, I won't even say that because that'll be the commentator's curse. Driving through the middle now. Cullen Cooper-Jones, he wants to go out to the back line. He does. Kurandrani, he's only known one way today, and that's been straight, getting good dominant metres. Short pass to Higgins, one of the North's club's representatives this afternoon. And goes to his North's counterpart, the front rower. Jeffrey Tuamunga Allen. Korchik with a run, gets cleaned up just a half a metre out. Cuppa. Another opportunity for the Challenger 15 with a free shot with an advantage being played. So 2 phases so far. Nielsen, who started this onslaught. Back on the inside of Kurandrani. Another advantage as well. Picks up and drives the scrum half. He's got, no, we go back to the penalty and we might dip into the pocket. And Tim Ryan, I think, coming from the wing, getting a... Is that Tim Ryan getting a yellow card there, Kerry? I think it might be.
Yes, it looks like it. Just back-to-back penalties from the Reds development. As we just see here. I'm not too sure what the call is there. Chad's possibly not rolling away. Just seems to be a team penalty there. He just seems to be the one that earns the yellow card from it.
So Connor Higgins slotting into number 8. Interesting who's by. He's won the Tasman Highlands Lawn Bowls Championship and at 15 years old, so a talented lawn bowler as well. There you go.
What a title.
What a title. There you go. The sun starts to just move its way over onto the real. Saw Cooper Jones there looking into the sun. A quick tap by the scrum half. Will he go? No. And you saw there Tyler Campbell. You know he's got plenty of pace.
It's interesting they opt to pack another scrum, considering the success that they've had off of their rolling maul this afternoon.
So see they're hooking Josh Nasser in there. First game of the season. It's a tough first game, a hot game of the season, isn't it?
See there, Jeffrey Tumunga Allen, former All Black and signed with the Reds for next year, also packing the scrum. Warm welcome, very warm welcome with this heat.
And the ball comes out on the right-hand side. Jeans offloads to Crichton, and Crichton, he finds the line, but the referee says we'll come back to the scrum.
The Reds development having a world of trouble in their scrum, particularly in their second half. So they just have a chat with the ref to see what's going on.
So Jackson Clark on the left-hand side, which is a loose head side, against Jeffrey Tumunga Allen, former All Black. That's a great test for a young front rower, isn't it, going against a international grade player.
Most certainly, Chets, and that's what makes these games so fantastic, is the opportunity to test yourself against the best of the best.
And the ball comes out. This time we get a clean play of the ball, and Kurandrani just can't get that arms free. The scrum half looks around and finds Nielsen. Nielsen gets chopped in a tackle by Smith. And the ball gets turned over, so frustration there for the Challenger 15. Nasser just getting 2 or 3 metres makes it a little bit more structured. Bit of a high pass there for Crichton, but gets out of trouble.
This Challenger side, they're still in a good position here. Crichton probably not making as many metres as he would have liked on this clearance. It's a valiant effort defensively to get themselves out of trouble, basically on their try line.
So now an opportunity to get back. Campbell drives through the middle. No opportunity, gets twisted around. A bit of an arm wrestling there, a bit messy, and Cupper, who's put in a big effort today. Another penalty opportunity for the Challenger 15. Ball goes through, kicks through. Does that ball go out, finds the line, and we go back to another penalty. And the touch judge, Damon Murphy, very experienced referee at Super Rugby level.
Be interesting to see what the Challenger side does with this penalty. Strategically decides to take the option on the other side of the park, away from the sun. Once again, Chets, we haven't seen any short lineouts using this law variation just yet.
Korchik goes over the top. It just doesn't go into his hands, and again, they get away with that one there. 54 points to 36 in the last 10 minutes. Oh, just getting out of the way there was Johnson Tuimalu. And now Greeley gets that ball back in his own half. Greeley, I think he got a stray boot in the face there. Matt Greeley, that's interesting. See how he pulls up after that one. And the 4th of November, the Saitama Panasonic Wild Knights are coming to Ballymore on the Saturday from 3:05. 4th of November, your Queensland Reds take on the Saitama Panasonic Wild Knights from Japan League One competition. So 2024 Queensland Reds members gain exclusive pre-sale access to purchase tickets. Become a member at redsmembership.com.au to be the first to purchase tickets. Tickets limited, so don't miss out. And you might see a few of these Challenger 15 lads having an opportunity there, Kiri. You never know. Seems to be the Jeffrey Tuamonga Allen. He's a chatter. He talks. He's asking questions. It's good to see the experience coming out of the former All Black. He likes to. Big human being, likes to have a yarn.
As we see here in these last few minutes, Chet's the pace certainly slowing down. A few errors creeping into the game. It has been a very high-scoring game so far.
So the second shove goes through for the Reds development. Oh, well read there by who came out of the line. They will come back to that one in a minute. Now, the Reds development, they come back for a penalty, and what about that for a read in defence? And the Reds development really put the Challenger 15 on the back foot.
Looks like Connor Chittenden just flies up out of that line, and Tyler Campbell wears that one.
At 74 and a half minutes, still getting belted. And Campbell, he heard those footsteps coming.
Tuamonga Allen leaves the field. A short, quick stint, but impactful.
So in the last 5 minutes of this match, and we are back next Sunday, so both coaching staff will go away and do a bit of analysis and just what else needs to change, tweak, twerk, all that kind of stuff. Whiteside, one-hand pass. Now, Campbell likes to bounce and weave through defence, doesn't get away from anyone this time. Now, met with a wall of defence there, big tackle. Reece Sheriff from Bond University goes back on the inside. Great little short, little deft path to Tarsi. It was a forward pass though, so Tarsi from the GPS club just overcooking that a touch.
It's a nice short line from Tarsi. Just a little bit forward. Certainly didn't think so.
So what do these two teams go away in the week? Kiri, just working on the basics again and just the processes and what they've been trying to do today?
Yeah, I think so. I also think it's a really good time to explore these law variations and how they can strategically make the most of them, as we've seen a little bit on display this afternoon.
So Crichton goes long, down deep, and the ball bounces. Oh, bounces nicely for Kennedy. Kennedy looks around, decides to go to the boot, gets plenty on that, hits the dirt now. Not long to go in this game, and Crichton goes to Greeley. Greeley dances around, Gunk just gets past. Kennedy. Hasn't had much action down this half of the field in the second half. And really, again, coming over from the other side of the wing, looking for some work. Tough from Souths. Fresh legs down. Goes straight through the middle. That's Nasser. Big long pass. Tries to find the pass back on the inside. Good momentum now. Again, Lachlan Connors drifting on that side of the park. He can play both sides. Jeans, numbers down the right-hand side, and Connors this time just can't hold on to it. He likes that side of the park there, doesn't he, Connors? He doesn't want to move very far, but a quick line out. Keep things moving in the last couple of minutes. So here we go, Greeley. Not much gas in the tank now to be running from 80 metres away there, Kiri. That's a great option for all forwards as well.
That's right. He's certainly been busy this afternoon, Matt Greeley.
So Cupper just can't seem to put that into the breadbasket. Nielsen driving through the middle, gets to his front. Good opportunity now in the last stanza. Higgins. And Sheriff looked up to go for a run out of 45 metres, but I don't think anybody would want that. So they're going for the last throw of the dice here. Crichton to get as close as possibly can to the challenge of 15. Doesn't seem like we've been down here much at all in this second half. It's been all up the other end. So the shot clock is on. 20 seconds to go to get this ball in with Nasser. Finds the mark. Nasser with the combination of Jeans. Oh, that's a big hit by Christian. Out the back door pass and finds Cupper, but Cupper just can't seem to hold on in the final try of the afternoon. Well, that just tied in defence and just couldn't stick to the tackle. And the Reds development, they score the last try of the afternoon, you would think. And yeah, just a little bit tired there, isn't it?
Well, we said it a bit earlier, Chets. The Reds development, they certainly haven't had a lot of ball down their end, but when they do, they're making the most of it. And they'll have the last say this afternoon with a final try to Sean Anderson. Just have some nice patient play and a little bit of set piece to confuse the defenders to round off what has been a very solid game from both sides.
So that's all she wrote this afternoon, where the Reds development 59 and the Challenger 15 36. Well, plenty of points this afternoon, both for the men's and women's game. And a lot to like about this, and looking forward to next Sunday. So Crichton was really dominant this afternoon. But what about this one here, the hooker? He kept on scoring tries this afternoon.
4 tries to his name, Molly Soai-Malilagi, all off the back of rolling mauls, something that this Challengers side had down-packed this afternoon. So we see Molly cross over for the first try of the second half. Reds development, they entered back. Melly Drew, the speedster, the fancy feet, throwing a dummy and going over. As we see Molly Soai-Malilagi rounding off his plethora of tries. He had a little bit more work to do with this one. He's just looking up and seeing no defender at home. And Josh Nasser returns to the field with a lovely little offload. Matt Greeley turns on the jets, pins his ears back and finds his way in the far right corner. As we just see here, one of the themes of the afternoon was these fast taps, and Spencer Jeans made an impact when he came onto the field. A quick tap and he was away with no one to catch him. Crosses over for his first try of the afternoon. And to finish it off, this Reds development side being very impactful when down their end. Sean Anderson to finish off and round off the day.
What about that one there? So the Challenger Series round 1 is over. We're back at Ballymore next weekend for another action-packed afternoon. Don't miss a minute. Next Sunday, the 24th, from 1:15, the Reds Development Women take on the Development 15, followed by the men's fixture at 3:05. So that's all she wrote this afternoon. Thank you very much for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. And we'll see you next Sunday to do this all again. Good afternoon and good night.